that house.
That is a good fertilizer.
So as of the
Blood
last
meal.
time we left off, you guys were in the yawning portal, and we had kind of faded away for the evening. You guys had rescued Rainier Neverember, who was Lord Neverember of Neverwinters. There's a lot of nevers in there. Naming guy at Wizards of the Coast. Work on that. You guys had rescued him from the clutches of really two forces or two factions: the Zentarum and the Xanathar's Guild. I posted some stuff in the group about those factions and some others that maybe Durnan can tell you about. And rather than waste our in-game time just discussing them, I'll just post it, and you guys can read about them if you want. And if not, cool, whatever. So among those groups, however, there are 5 notables that are really important along Waterdeep and the Sword Coast in general, and all throughout the realms. This is the Harpers, which have been around forever. They're kind of your essential do-gooders. They are concerned with the fate of the realms, is basically what he tells you. That's the shorthand version of it. There are the Order of the Gauntlet, which is, well, we don't have to concern ourselves with them for now, we'll say. Plus, I don't have my notes handy. There's the Emerald Enclave, which you've actually seen members of these guys walking around in Waterdeep throughout the couple of days now that you've been here, the day and a half that you've been here. You've seen people that are clearly marked with these, like, emeralds on their sigils and things. And these are known to be like a force more for, like, the force of nature and good. A lot of druids seem to be part of it. The other 2 groups, the Zentarim, they are sometimes known to be associated with another group called the Black Network. And this is a group of, like, highly skilled mercenaries, and these are a really dangerous crowd. You know, they're the no good guys. They're the opposite of the Harpers almost. And the 2 groups have actually found themselves juxtaposed kind of a lot in the history in the realms. And this is all me kind of paraphrasing the things that Durnan would be saying to you, explaining the local lore, since a lot of you guys aren't from there, and this would be something he probably would have talked about in general at length. He also goes on to explain a little bit more about his tavern and how it was built over Hallister Blackcloak's tower. And Hallister is often referred to as the Mad Mage of Waterdeep or the Mad Mage of Undermountain. He goes into a little more detail about how Hallister had created Undermountain many, many years before even the city of Waterdeep really existed as it does now. Just a few small farms in the area, and Hallister had a huge tower that, through means unknown, he sank deep into the ground. It's been rumored that there are as many as 20 or more levels of the Undermountain dungeon. And Hallister has been rumored to have perpetually expanded this dungeon over the years. It seems like he's never content. He's sort of like it's sort of like the Winchester Mansion of dungeons. He just keeps building it, and he won't ever stop. So we kind of open up. We can say you guys have an uneventful night, and you get a full long rest if you didn't do that at the end of the last session. So you guys will have all your spell slots and everything. And yeah, you would each have been provided a room as thanks for rescuing Rainier at the inn. Or at the very least, you would have been able to share some rooms. And probably get some food in the morning, too, as just a means of thanks for Durnan to not have to, like, report back to his friend, Lord Neverember, that his son had been killed or some such nonsense. Rainier, however, is nowhere to be found. Rainier appears to have disappeared in the middle of the night. And when you ask Volo about it, who's sitting at the bar, he tells you that Rainier decided to go off and find Floon, his nephew. The 2 are good friends, and Rainier was very concerned about him. So, is there anything, essentially, you guys would like to do this morning when you're getting up from your long rest? You're coming downstairs in the yawning portal. There's already a few patrons in there getting breakfast, and people that stayed there overnight, maybe.
One thing I would say, anytime Maggie ends, like, is about to go into a long rest before, or with some spell slots left in 3rd level, she's gonna cast sending and try to check in with the folks they're concerned about. So if they just went to sleep last night after rescuing Rainier, she would have checked in with oh my god, I keep forgetting, the girls
with Nexa.
Nexa,
Okay.
and probably the yeah, I guess out of curiosity, check in with Cora. So that doesn't necessarily need to. I don't know if we need an immediate response to either of those, but
Okay. Cora, when he first would hear your message of kind of like what's going on up there, he would literally just respond with a shout, like "ah!" Like, who the hell is this? Because he wouldn't necessarily know who you were unless you addressed it as such, and if you did, he would probably just be worried that you guys were contacting him more than anything. Um, Pretty much what you can glean out of him is that he is afraid for his life and his family's life, and that they are currently headed northwest, away from Kalia and away from Naladzur, into the area that is the kind of a wasteland desert, off to the west of where you guys had left off at Southmord. Um, he's pretty unclear about the why or the how. Just he kind of it gives you like this impending sense of doom, and the response from Nexa comes in the middle of the night, and she says something along the lines of, "Body is safe. Uh, Elves of Grimwood are still protecting me and Munley and Arlo." She says,
you said Bobby.
What's that?
Was Bobby was the name you said?
No.
Body.
Yeah, her body is safe. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she says that her body is safe, and they are the Elves of Grimwood are still helping to protect her and the other two.
Cool.
She isn't able to see where Mexa is right now. She's only able to see when he uses her, she tells you. And she's able to like really articulate when she sends you these messages back. It's not like a normal send spell. Like she's like coming through like crystal clear. It's that old Austin Powers joke about the AOL instant messenger like online thing where in the 60s they've got the watch that they can just see real clear on. But she tells you overall she's fairly certain that Malikani's forces in possession of her brother and along with Agos are headed north and west, and they are just essentially sacking every town on their way. And rumors confirm this kind of to be true. Like Durnan, if you talk to Durnan about it, he would tell you that he's heard rumors of troubles in the Far East, and that a great force of darkness may be stirring there. So it seems like there are some serious consequences to the end result of the battle at Southmord, where you all last saw Mexa.
Gotcha. I think one thing Maggie's going to be interested in finding out in the morning, maybe ask, sorry, I'm so bad with names unless I see them written down, but ask the bartender if he knows anything about the lady that you mentioned, like Agos' love interest.
No, I've never heard of her.
And that's something she, I guess if they're like talking to librarians or anybody that might kind of know about the world, that's something she might mention. She's got schemes.
Volo, when you mention this, and he's still sitting there, kind of just eavesdropping on your conversation and eating his breakfast, and he kind of looks over and he goes, "Sounds like every affair of the heart, complicated."
So Aranith would like to, before she goes to sleep, she confers with Reginald and asks him if there's any other way besides these mithril portals to get us to where we need to be quicker.
He says, "Well, the mithrils would be fastest, providing that you are at one and you are going to one. But yes, there's several other methods of transport that would get you across the world." He says, "There's ships here in Waterdeep that could take you west across the ocean. I mean, you'd probably have to stop in Chult to resupply, Chult.
I mean, magical means.
He says,
A spell or...
Again, a high level, like a wish spell would do it. A high level teleport spell of some sort. He says, I was never that powerful of a magic user myself. That's why I had to go to the man that I went to transmogrify me, I think was the word he used.
And then in the morning, I would like to go to find a library and do some research.
Okay.
With Reginald to help me.
Absolutely. So what?
So I'm looking at so we have 3 things that we need to do here. Kind of re-rescue Rainier and Floon here.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like we need to do. Get a power source, which is I guess is in the bottom of the Alistair Blackford Undermountain, which is in the Yawning Portal. And then maybe get the Lords of Waterdeep on our side so they can send an army toward Malikani's army.
Yeah, and
because even if we can get back quickly, I mean, we're still facing an army and an undead, god basically.
Lords. Very good point.
And Jen, when you go to the library, you find a book that actually talks about these Powerstones, and it discusses that. Again, this brings up the topic of Undermountain, as it seems to be pretty popular in Waterdeep books. That it's kind of like how every place around Saratoga has those Revolutionary War things attached to it. That's kind of the Waterdeep situation here with Undermountain. It's kind of like almost a tourist trap for adventurers. There's shops that have sprung up around this thing, and in specific, this is like an old newsprint binder. It's like several broadsheets from just things that they would hand out like newspapers back then. And a few of them in it actually have reports of adventurers coming up from Underdeep with these Powerstones. As again, these were this is sort of the equivalent of a door key for an apartment, and each one of them probably functions a little bit differently with either its mythal that they use or with each mythal. And there were ones that were skeleton keys that sort of worked with all the mythals. And some of these have been reported to come up from Undermountain from time to time over the years. It's every maybe 5 or 10 years somebody will come up from an adventure that they have down there and they bring up one of these Powerstones, and often the Waterdeep Museum of Magical Artifacts will offer to buy it from them.
The Museum of Magical Artifacts?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that's somewhere to go check out at the very least. Find some more information. But before I do that, is there anything in the library about where we can find a mithril grate, and also about my staff?
Yeah. The most recent thing you can find about a mythal brings up about 6 or 7 years ago, a major event happened where a floating city had been spotted in the middle of the continent. And through some series of events, through powerful magics, this floating city had been brought down on top of a recently reconstructed city called Mithranor. Mithranor, or Mithranor, however you wish to say it, was an ancient home to elves, but they had been driven from that place by a series of battles. This is ancient history, thousands of years ago. Most recently, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, the city had been, or the ruins had sort of started to been repopulated by these small group of sun elves, or high elves. And their city was essentially wiped out. And I don't remember the name of the town that all the refugees fled to, but it is in the notes that I put in the group the other day. So it's someplace on the Facebook page. Actually, I have it here.
In those videos?
Yeah, not even in the videos. It's in one of the posts.
I'll have to go through and look.
Let's see. I'll find it right now. I got it up. Let's see. So the thing that you read essentially says that mythals were these powerful magical effects. So they weren't just strictly for teleportation. They were sort of the magical cornerstone of these cities that existed. Throughout history, these cities would be kind of protected by these mythals. They would maybe activate a giant force field to prevent an attacking army from just walking in. They could do teleportation between each one of them. And these each had to be created by these high-level magic users, and like a bunch of them had to get together and create these things. Where is it? So yeah, you are currently in 1493, DR, Dale Reckoning. So back in 1479 was when that city, Mithranor, was starting to be repopulated. However, just 7 years after that, that's when the flying city of Thultanthar crashed into it, and the surviving subjects of Mithranor fled to a place called Semberholm. And that is the last the article says about it.
Anything about my staff and my other quest?
None of the information you find about the Rod of Seven Parts is new. No mention of the Chief of Staff anywhere.
Okay. I guess the only other thing I want to do is tell the others what I've found, and in the morning, or when I get back to them, and maybe check out that museum.
Okay. Well,
when you mention that, Gilfoyle mentions that he has a map of an Waterdeep Arcana Museum. It might be the same place.
Maggie doesn't ask him where he got it.
Well,
Zach,
perhaps that'll come in handy when we take a look around.
mm-hmm. Zach, you had mentioned before we got to Waterdeep that Venadia had gotten some kind of weird sense about her mother.
Mm-hmm.
When she has been going to sleep, she's been doing their fire song ritual, like kind of her quiet version of it, and she meditated on that. Did she get any more insight into what that's about or anything, or have any more of those types of feelings since then?
Sort of some of the anxiety feeling has gone away, and now it's just been replaced by this feeling of like sadness, almost like grief. And yeah, you're only a few blocks from where they are. You're free to go visit them if you want.
Yeah, I think that's probably where she's gonna head at this point.
Okay, so you get to your parents' armory shop. They're a fairly well established armorer. They've been in Waterdeep for as long as you've been around, essentially. And you know that they used to be kind of more adventure-y types, right? As if that's what I'm remembering about things.
Mm-hmm.
And you were actually an orphan that they picked up along the way and sort of settled down when they got to like middle age. So as you approach the armory, you see your mother, and as she looks up, she looks like she's seeing a ghost, and she sees you and comes running and gives you a big hug, and she says, "They told me you were dead."
Who told you that?
Your commander from the Fist. They stopped by the other day and they gave us your I don't remember what the word is when somebody gets paid for like their military service for bereavement pay.
Yeah.
That's it, bereavement pay.
Right.
They stopped by and gave us the bereavement pay for you and everything. She looks around and she says, "Have you reported in yet?"
I said, I hadn't had time. I was on business when I arrived. Now I'm not so sure I want to.
Oh dear. She says, "Yes, it was a few days ago that the man stopped by and he said that you'd been killed in the line of duty and they gave us 2,000 gold."
What did he look like? What did he say his name was?
Don't remember off the top of my head. It was such a shocking moment that I couldn't really think straight. She says, "I'm so glad you're alive," and gives you a big hug. At this moment, your dad comes walking out. Your father, he comes walking out, and he's got the big hammer for doing the anvil shit in his hand, and he's kind of like, "Venadia? Oh, come here, my girl!" And he comes running over, and he scoops you and your mom up, big hug, spinning around for a minute. It's a happy moment in D&D. They do exist.
Cute.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess I would ask him as well if he can remember any way to describe. Because I want to try to follow up on this, but I want to be careful if there's anyone I need to tiptoe around or anything.
He says, well, my girl, you've put us in a bit of a situation. Come on inside. Let's talk about it for a minute. You guys kind of head inside and sit down at the kitchen table, and your mom's like fixing you like something to eat and like a cup of coffee and stuff, and like she's all excited and just being a doting mom for a minute. And your father looks at you and he says, my girl, I'm so happy you're alive, but I'm afraid this might complicate things a bit. You see, as we are wont to do when we are benefited by something tragic like the passing of our daughter, we tend to be charitable with our what we receive. So we thought it only fitting to donate your bereavement to the local orphanage. Says if the Fist finds out you're back, I fear they might make us pay that back, and I don't think that the orphanage would be too keen on giving us that money back. We would go into debt quite badly. Perhaps, is there any chance that until we get this sorted out, you could maybe lay low about town?
I see. Well, I am with some friends who've done me a great favor, and I still feel I'm in their debt. And I'm trying to help them on their quest. So that's going to keep me on the road for a while. But I'm worried I might need to sort this out at some point. I can't stay away from home forever.
Yes, of course. We don't want you to either. We want you back home with your mother and me. But I'm afraid that they would think it was an act of fraud. Perhaps that you had faked your death. Maybe we could just all go down and straighten it all out.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I think there might be something sinister at work here. And I need to try to see who might be behind it. And why someone might have tried to fake my death for me.
And your father just kind of considers it for a minute. He's like, well, let's not tarry on it too long. Let's enjoy the moments we have. What have you been doing?
And I tell him about the journey that I went on to find the Niyogi and my current companions who I met along the way, and the quest that we're on. I tell him about the Battle of Southmord and how he ended up back here, and yeah.
He's like,
Bring him up
lich,
to
a
speed
lich,
on
you
that.
say? Your mother and I fought a lich back in the day. Tough fellow. What was his name? Victor, Vicky, something like that. I can't remember. Your mother just kind of goes, I thought it was Etna. Nah. They're kind of just hemming and hawing for a minute. We're going to leave you there for a minute. Gilfoyle, what are you doing this morning? That you got
Gilfoyle is looking around to see if anybody left anything unattended that needs to be, picked up and made sure that, secured for their safekeeping. And if he hears mention of the museum, he does bring out the map and show that, oh, look, it mentions a rod on here.
Yep, in your, the script on the map is kind of hastily written, and mostly it's probably not super legible to somebody that isn't sort of familiar with the handwriting, but you're able to read it pretty easily because you know the person that wrote it. And there are several instructions on it. They give very detailed information, and you can kind of clearly make this out as you're showing the other people this map. They can see these arrows pointing at what could only be entrances to this museum that are not public entrances. They are clearly marked for some sort of penetratory activity, we'll say.
Yeah, that's the kind of activity that Gilfoyle is always talking about.
Well, I look at Gilfoyle with interest and say before I decide to break into a museum, I'd like to do some research first on what we'd be going for.
Oh yeah, I don't think you should break in. That wouldn't be good. I can go have a look.
Fair enough.
Gilfoyle will go have a look.
Awesome. All right, so first, let's see what you found when you looked around. Okay, so you actually find a rank insignia from a member of the City Watch that is kind of, apparently they were off duty at the tavern and it slipped out of their pocket or somehow made its way there.
Yeah, I'll take care of it for safekeeping.
Yep. And it's just like a badge, something you could pin on to a lapel or something like that, but it does signify being a member of the City Watch.
That could come in handy.
That's straight from the book.
Adding that to my inventory now.
Love random items like that. Tohan, what are you doing this morning? I think you're on mute, Nick.
I wanted to go back to Zablov's real quick, the Curiosity Shop.
Okay.
And I wanted to buy one of those potions of invisibility.
Okay. I do not remember how much that I told you they were. Do you have it written down?
He gave me a total for 2 potions of invisibility and 2 potions of dark vision for 350. I just wanted 1 potion of invisibility.
Okay. So he would be willing to part with it for, we'll say, 125 gold is how much that he tells you.
Done.
Okay. And it's not a bad deal, I don't think. It's I don't know my D&D economy that well, but we'll say it's pretty close to
Tohan is
going
not a haggler, so
fine. Slaps the gold.
Yes, exactly. Right, and then just give it to him.
Okay, so that doesn't take you very long. You're not super far from the docks ward.
Yeah, then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna hang with Gilfoyle best I can, I guess. I don't know. I'm definitely not going to a museum, and I'm not going to Vanadia's house. So, if we're gonna go check out,
I mean, anyone's welcome to stop by.
Go to the museum there, or maybe I'll can always cast Speak with Animals on Munley and try to teach him how to fetch.
Okay.
If anyone needs a discount at a smithy or something, I'm sure it could work some kind of favor.
I'm sure, yeah, your parents, after what you've told them, I'm sure your parents would be more than favorable towards your friends as far as helping them out with stuff.
Aranith would also like to possibly find a store where she could buy a book on alchemy, since she has the tools. She would like to start learning and practicing it.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe be able to make some stuff.
It'd probably take you a couple hours to find one that you liked that actually seemed like a reputable shop and not like a dodgy kind of fly-by-night operation where they just had, like you would see in the market area some people pitching snake oil, essentially. You'd notice these guys and you'd be like, kind of roll your eyes, like that's not what I'm looking for. But after a few hours, you'd find a nice small little shop that was like a specialty shop tucked away somewheres off from a main street. And what sort of things were you looking for? Just a book about alchemy?
Yeah, since I picked up the alchemy tools as a focus point, I figure I might as well use them and learn some alchemy.
Okay.
So a beginner's book with A beginner's intermediate book or something to that
I'll give
effect.
you a 50-50 on if they have anything for. Yeah, okay. So you're able to find, yeah, like a Basics to Alchemy book. It is essentially Potion Making 101. So it's got your basic ingredients and things for potions in there. It's kind of reads like a chemistry high school textbook. Is essentially the vibe you get from it when you're looking at it.
All right. How much is it going to cost me?
Let's see. No, I do not know. That's a good question. Figure out where I would find that information. It's just on the trinkets page, and I can't be far off. Let's see. Goods. Different books. Paper, I know, is pretty pricey. We'll say he wants 125. We'll say he wants 75 gold for the book, but it's a pretty complete book. It's like I say, it's like he's charging you textbook prices for it, for like college textbooks, kind of. Where it's clearly a book that's only worth probably about 40, but he's looking for 75 gold for it.
I offer him 45.
Go ahead and make a
Persuasion
check. Yeah.
Ouch. 10.
He kind of eyeballs you for a minute, and he's like, "You offered him 50 for it, you said?"
45.
45. Okay, he comes back with, "Do it for 65."
I come back with 50.
All right, 60, but no lower, he says.
I say, come on, can't you do it for 55 at least?
All right, make a charisma saving throw for me.
Damn. Why am I getting 10?
He says, "No, 60's the lowest I can go."
All right, I'll do it for 60.
Okay. So yeah, with this book, you can make pretty much up to uncommon level potions, provided you have the right ingredients. They might even have a few rare recipes in there, and that's something we can just kind of be like, "Hey, does it have this one?" Find out. But
Okay, so basically, if I say, can I make a health potion? You'll tell me yes.
Yeah, and they would have
kind.
basic stuff like health potions of varying degrees of strength, and it would have something like a potion of invisibility in it probably. And we'll just say anything that's not on the exotic potions list.
All right, sweet. So then, that'll come in handy for Tohan and for just a lot of shit. Cool. I'll say that's a 60 well worth spent.
Okay. Maggie, what would you be doing in the morning? If you did the messaging thing at night?
Maggie, do you have your mic off?
Yeah, sorry, I can't see that far down if it's muted or
not. Yeah, I think she would probably like jump in the kitchen with whoever's making them food and try to kind of learn from them. And oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you, Dave. All right, so
can you hear me?
Still yes.
Shit.
Yes. Can you hear us, Dave?
You got me now. Okay.
So for that
Oh, sorry. I'm on a long delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
we will say try roll me a survival check, and we will see if you are able to pick up any new skills or cooking abilities.
Okay. um, can you hear me normally now? I might be on a long delay, and if I am, I'll go get into Wi-Fi.
It seems okay to me. I could hear you every time you were like, "Can you hear me?" I was like, "Yeah," and you were
Okay.
like, "Can you
Yeah.
hear me?"
Cool. It's working better now. Yeah. And you were responding like 15 seconds after I said it.
Weird.
So I was just on a long delay. All right. You said survival, so that's 27 plus my D4 if you want it, but I imagine that takes care of it.
Okay, so yeah, you're watching these guys work, and you're actually in. Like, you went in there to see if you could learn anything new, and you wind up essentially like teaching these guys all about what. Like, wait a minute, let me show you a better way to do that. Like the whole time, like you're the new guy in the kitchen that just took over the kitchen. You just headhunted the chef accidentally, and so as you're kind of explaining stuff to these guys, they're like stopping and taking a step back and being like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty smart. Maybe we should start doing it that way. That we can get a lot more food out the door if we do it that way." And while you're doing this, you're kind of talking to them in a very nondescript way about your god, and these guys, they're starting to pick up on this, and they're like, "Oh, okay. What's the name of the god again? Hestia. Okay, so she likes cooking. Okay, huh." And like now these guys have become sort of interested in Hestia. And for that we'll say why don't we can add another good point to you.
Nice.
I believe you got.
Yeah, she's
6 or
definitely
7.
consecrating. She's definitely consecrating their hearth.
Yeah, it's like kosher bar food coming out now instead.
So yeah, exactly. And then I guess she's gonna wander over to Vanadia's too, because she had heard that the mother was a cleric who had been an adventurer, and wants to kind of make connections. She recognizes that there's a potential communication network with like clerics and their sending spells, and wants to, and recognizes that there's kind of a global problem going on, and wants to start making connections with clerics.
Okay. So we could say, like, before you left Venadia, you were kind of like, "Oh, I'm going to my parents' house. It's over here. If you guys want to find me, that's where I'll be." And so Maggie...
Yeah, I messaged Dave to let him know that I actually mentioned I had kind of thought of doing that, and I forgot. And then, like, after I was already there, I was like, "Oh wait."
Yeah, you're able to find the place pretty easily, and you're greeted kindly by Vanadia's parents as well. And you notice that Vanadia's mother does, in several spots, have a religious symbol hanging up. Vanadia, which deity or god?
Eliastray. I'm not sure how I'm saying it right, but Eliastray. She's a drow goddess of like music and dance and fire and a lot of things. But let me just look it up real quick because I just had it up. So.
Do you know what her alignment is? The goddess?
Yeah, it's good. But it's like Eliastray herself is kind of like chaotic good, but definitely good. Let's see.
Which is saying a lot for drow gods. Most drow gods are not good gods.
Right. She's kind of like, so her mom is like half drow and half moon elf. And but she has a drow faith, but it's only this like one specific drow faith.
One of her parents was in a cult.
What's that?
So one of her parents was in some sort of a drow cult. It was like the cult of doing good stuff instead of evil stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Maggie relates hard to that.
Yeah, it's like arts and beauty and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Festivity and all that kind of thing.
And yeah, gotcha. You guys are able to kind of connect on like a level of being moms too. You're like, she's just like, "Oh, and the kids, blah, blah, blah." And like, it's almost to the point of like that weird cringy thing where your parent starts talking about you when like you're not in the room when you're there, Vinny.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's like the kind of thing that like I was like totally fearing, but at the same, yeah.
Yep.
Like they were gonna start telling stories about me, like childhood stories, and I was like, oh Jesus,
She's
no.
bringing out like an etched, like whatever the lithograph of you.
Yeah.
It's like a bronze tapped out picture that somebody made of you as a baby.
Like with no pants on or something.
Yeah. Doing like the copper tone baby thing, like, oh, isn't it cute?
Yeah.
Mom, come on, stop. It's my friends. I'm adventuring with these guys.
Hell yeah.
I'm looking up also. Yeah, they're like very anti-slavery too. They like fought really hard against slavery and things like that. The Alice Stray Church or whatever.
So yeah, they would be relating a lot of these stories to you guys in a very like kind of middle-aged to elderly fashion. You know, like, oh, back in my day, like this is the thing that we had to do in order to conquest evil. Now we don't even know who the evil people are anymore. It was easy back then, you know. If it was an evil race, it was an evil race. Now, we don't even know. It just offends everybody. One of those deals.
So Maggie kind of, relates to her primary pressing concern, which is basically, the kidnapping of the twins, but also, I guess now there's this other kidnapping in the city that they're concerned about, and just the overall, basically the fact that they've taken on this huge thing that they're going to need all the help they can get. And so she's curious, if she has any guidance as far as like where to turn in the city. I imagine she's, assuming that Nadia trusts her parents. Maggie's also mentioning their intent to speak to the Lords of Waterdeep and get their support. So, kind of looking for any guidance that she can offer in that realm.
Okay, so her mother and father both kind of relate to you. She says it seems odd that Neverember would send you to the Lords of Waterdeep for help. That's the first thing that they make apparent. Neverember and the Lords they have sort of a tense alliance. Neverember, she kind of fills you in, was formerly the Open Lord of Waterdeep for many years. It wasn't until he took his military might south to reclaim the lands of Neverwinter, that the masked lords, which are kind of a widely acknowledged secret, let's say, like everyone kind of knows that there are masked lords of Waterdeep. They do not, however, know on any given day who these masked lords actually are. Is the way that someone gets to be a masked lord is sort of Secret Cabal-esque, She says that Neverember was not really favored by those people because the people in power feel, the rumor has it anyways, that Neverember embezzled a large amount of money from the city itself. Supposedly he stashed it somewheres in the city. Further rumors as she's going on would be that the Zentarum and the Xanathar Guild are kind of, they're at odds because they both want to find this supposed Neverember treasure that exists. And it's supposed to be a huge lot of coins. She doesn't know exactly how many, but it's like an unreal number. It's like you would be set for life if you found this. And so, of course, both the major crime factions that exist in the city, along with several smaller ones, are sort of trying to find this gold. And when you told her about Rainier, she says, "Oh, I've met that lad. He's been around town for a bit." She says he would be a prime target for something like that. It seems if they were going to try to leverage him against his father to get the location of the gold.
And who does the wealth rightly belong to?
Well, the people of Waterdeep, I would suppose, if it was stolen from the city coffers. It's all speculative anyways. We don't know if Neverember stole anything or not.
I explained that I don't want to rock the boat too much with Neverember because we kind of need his diplomacy to help get this armada together.
She says, you may have better luck trying to contact the Blackstaff directly. And you would know this from living here, Nadia, that the Blackstaff is a very powerful wizard that is essentially, he's sort of like a guild master for wizards in Waterdeep. Like, there's no official, there probably is an official wizards guild, but that's more in name. Whereas the Blackstaff sort of just knows what the fuck's going on in the world of magic in Waterdeep. He's like the head honcho when it comes to casting spells around here. And the current Blackstaff, she tells you, is a man. That is again in my notes that look like trash. She tells you his name. I'll find the name in a minute. But she says you might have better luck with him. Go. Perhaps try and schedule a meeting at Blackstaff Tower. It's in the northern part of Waterdeep.
Cool. That sounds like a good move.
Yeah, she says the lords may be very willing to help you on your quest, especially if you make it very clear that there is a lich involved. They are not too fond of undead or dark magics. We have traditionally always been considered a good city and a city that will protect that which we cherish, and that is life and love and the, general good stuff. Basically what she's explaining in a much more eloquent way than I feel like doing.
She mentions they're looking for a way to get a large force over there quickly, and the mythal idea that they've currently got, and but I mean, it sounds like potentially a powerful wizard could also find them a way to get back there.
She says, yes, there are many other powerful wizards too, but I wouldn't be sure of their motivations. Wizards are a strange lot often, and sometimes they're so lost in their research that they don't pay much attention to what they consider politics, even if it involves, well, the forces of evil destroying the world. If it doesn't bother them, then... But
Maggie's all in on this,
the Blackstaff would be able to help you. Yeah, so she gives you directions to the Blackstaff Tower.
Cool.
See. So
Maggie also asks her to please keep her she tells her it seems like there might be a some worldwide evil growing. If unusual things happen here, will you please keep us posted?
She says, yes, I'd heard a few rumors of trouble gathering in the east, but it's tough when you hear these things in a port city. You don't pay much mind to them at first, but I hear the same rumors a lot about the far east and that the forces of darkness are gathering there again. She says, I will be sure to pray to my unpronounceable god.
Nice. All right. Cool. We'll just find Maggie, grab Arianth, and
okay, so
whoever else wants to go to that tower.
We'll say you guys all reconvene a few hours later. It's probably been 4 or 5 hours at this point. So it's midday. You reconvene back at the Yawning Portal, and as you're discussing these things and kind of relating them to each other, the door bursts open. And it's kind of quiet in the pub right now. Midday tends to be, everybody's at work, it's not quite lunchtime yet, so that maybe a few regulars have trickled in, but it's fairly empty. And the door just slams open, and in comes Floon and Rainier. And they're tore to shit. Their clothes are all frickin' mucked up. Rainier's still got his sword in his hand. He's all wild-eyed and looking around. And he looks over at Volo, and he's like, Volo, we found him! Or, I found him, he says. And Floon runs over, gives Volo a big hug, and he's like, Uncle, how are you? I've been trapped by the Xanathar's Guild in the sewers for the last 2 days. And Volo's all happy. And he's, a round of drinks to celebrate. So drinks are brought over to your table, and they're all kind of cheering off at the other end of the bar. So now's the point when I would let you guys start planning your kind of what you want to do. Where would you like to start off?
Did my scouting mission into the museum get any results?
Well, did you want to go there early morning when you were first waking up?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
oh, okay.
I was gonna go.
All right, so we'll
check it out.
We'll say it takes a little while to travel there, but you are able to get there. Just give me a stealth check and see how stealthy you are in general at this place, of kind of casing the joint.
20.
Nice. Okay,
Nice.
so you yeah, you're able to walk in and you're like doing the oh, I'm just a tourist thing, you know, and kind of looking at, and you have a pretty keen memory for maps in general, I would assume, being a halfling and you know one of your trade. So you're able to kind of ascertain the locations of these entrances. There would be things very very diehardish, you know, like air ducts sort of things. And yeah, you think it would probably be a fairly easy job to get back in here. You see the rod that had previously been discussed is on display, and it's got a small plaque next to it, and it just reads "Rod of Truth," and it's got a little like item description next to it, and it, you know, explains like this rod has the effect of casting a permanent zone of truth around anyone who's holding it.
Okay. Any mundane alarms set near it?
Make me a perception check for that.
11.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah.
One other thing you do
Well,
notice,
that would be the case then.
you had overheard something about these Powerstones, and they were being discussed. And you actually see they have kind of a large display of these things in various shapes and sizes with various runes carved on them. And they're just in like a nice glass case. And that one is very obviously alarmed. It has like a huge, essentially what looks like a kind of a cross between a bullhorn and a mouth on the side of it. Something similar to kind of what pops out of Reggie, but larger. And it's just still closed lips, but it's there, and you recognize it immediately for what it is. It is clearly a giant magical alarm for that case.
Okay. And is it within eyesight of the other alarm? Of the other rod?
Yeah, they're in the same hall. They're at like opposite ends of the hall. The museum has it's got just a couple of doors that seem to probably go to like storage closets or maybe to a downstairs area, and then it has kind of a big balcony that goes up to the upstairs. So it's all sort of one big warehouse in a way. It's actually kind of a similar setup to the warehouse that you guys had been in, where it's got like a ledged balcony that goes up and along and like an office and stuff.
All right. I will collect a brochure on the way out as I continue to map out mentally the entrances that we can get in, which ones would be easiest.
Okay.
And then I make my way back to the group.
And on your way out, there's a young woman that looks kind of familiar, glasses, spectacled, half elf, kind of tall and skinny, and she's rattling a can and she's saying, "Donations for the library."
Oh, I flip a gold.
She said, "Oh, thank you, young sir." She clearly mistook you for a child. Kind of looks at it like, where the kid got the gold piece from?
Can I remember where I know her from? Like an insight check, maybe?
You're not 100% sure because the details are kind of fuzzy, but you think she might have been in the inn in Kalia in Demonsville. You're not 100% sure if it's the same person or not.
Okay. Well,
It's a long way from Kansas if it is.
half elves look the same. I go back to the group.
Alright. Yeah, so we'll say that you reconvene with the others kind of around the same time, around midday. Took a little day trip to the museum. Got your sightseeing in for Waterdeep. So Rainier kind of approaches you guys as you're all there, and he says to you, "My thanks again for rescuing me. I want you to know that Floon and we're eternally grateful. We're in your debt. If there's anything that we can ever do for you, please let us know." And Volo says, "Yes, and me as well. I know that I offered you that house before, but perhaps we could come to an arrangement. I am trying to sell it. Are you in the market for a house?"
You're going to try to sell us the house that you were going to give us?
I don't think so.
Oh, yes, if you could rescue Floon, but Floon is now rescued, so I don't need to give you the house.
Look how good we did. Floon's already rescued.
He says, but Rainier rescued Floon.
And we rescued Rainier, so by the transit.
Yeah, but had we not rescued Rainier, so yeah, exactly.
Says, I suppose you do it. Rainier actually looks and he goes, Volo, you're never gonna sell that house. Volo looks at him and he's like,
No, you're good, Volo. Thanks for the drinks.
He says, very, very well, and he's kind of dejected, and he's. I tell you what, here, and he hands you a thing that says Volo's Waterdeep Enchiridion on it, and I'll, if I didn't already, I will post it in the group. I think I set a timer for it to post, but it might not have. And that is basically a chapter out of the one of the books about Waterdeep that will inform you greatly about Waterdeep. Because if I tried to relate an entire chapter of a book, that's all we do for the rest of the night, and fuck that. So,
did you want us to kind of glance at that now, or?
If it's up, I mean, you can. If not, I'm gonna put it up after the group or after the.
Got it. So we can just check it out later.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's basically, he explains to you, it's like an extended brochure about Waterdeep. It sort of gives you some detailed information about the who's who. You know, it's like if your local town has like a who's who of Saratoga type thing. Like, that's when they do that, and it's like, really, we don't need to know these people, but there they are. And it's kind of, popular locations. As you're thumbing through, you can see, like, it's got, like, the Arcana Museum in there. The Yawning Portal has a full 2-page spread in it. And when you get to that page, Durnan kind of leans over and he goes, "How'd you make it look so clean? Never looks that clean." Volo's like, "That's the prestidigitation magic at the printers. We remove it in post." But yeah, he gives you all a copy of that book. And Rainier says, "So, you said my father sent you to save me. Does that mean you're after this supposed wealth of his too? If he has that kind of wealth, I've sure never been a party to it."
Can I make an insight check at that statement, or
Yeah, go
or
ahead.
do I believe him?
Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check.
Which is not my forte, by the way. So, but
26 if I'm listening.
that's a 7.
Okay, so we'll say that Gilfoyle, you were assisting, like Tohan's like listening, and then kind of like you hear it and you don't make the connection right away, and then Gilfoyle gives you a little jab in the ribs, like, "Dude, did you hear what he just said?" Like, and
What?
yes, he does seem to be honest about it. Like, Gilfoyle, you're probably more just shocked that this kid wouldn't know whether or not, like, by now, like, you're thinking, like, geez, if my dad had that much cash laying around someplace in a distant city that I was in, I would have tried to find it by now. You're, like, more incredulous of his actual motives of not knowing. Like, why wouldn't you know? That's a terrible way to make money. But yeah, Rainier seems genuine. He doesn't seem to be concerned with the money either. He's glad his friend is okay. He wants to go on adventures and kind of be a little debaucherous in the city and have fun. He's just kind of a young man sowing wild oats. And that makes me sound middle-aged when I say that. I don't like that.
Let's face it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to bring it up,
quite.
but yeah.
We're pretty much on the cusp, okay?
Get there.
Kids
So are we gonna go
all that.
dungeon delving, or are we gonna try to do a heist here?
I don't know. I kind of want to stay out of too much. Stay out of the streets too much because I don't want to be noted by anyone who's might have sent me on a suicide mission and was hoping I'm dead or something.
I think the first thing that would make sense to do would be to talk to that wizard, because that might be one way to achieve the transportation, or get some guidance on what we're gonna or like approach to talking to the lords?
Minor point, I had meant to ask before leaving Beneda's parents' house if she could borrow one of her mother's like a riding hood or something to kind of just to help conceal her a little bit, like her flaming fist attire and that, so she's not quite so conspicuous.
Yeah, you would absolutely have some sort of an outfit there that would still, you know, I mean, you didn't leave home that long ago. It was like less than a year that you've been in the fist, probably. Maybe a couple, you know. But yeah, you would be able to find some nondescript clothing, just some robes or something. I'm assuming you're putting it on over the armor.
Yeah, just like a hood that you would just kind of drape over you, like to, you know.
So we'll say for future reference, while you're wearing this, if you do pass a flaming fist, we'll have you make your deception roll or whatever with disadvantage because you do have your armor under it. But
okay.
But you'd be able to do it.
Cool.
I assume Gilfoyle lets me know what he found at the museum, and I ask Reginald about the Route of Truth.
Okay. Reginald, based on Gilfoyle's description, he says, yes, I believe that is correct. There was reports that it was headed that way. Let me check. And you hear boop, 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 boop in the background for a minute. And the mouth kind of disappears off the staff for a second. And when he comes back, he says, oh my, you're in luck today. Not only is that the Rod of Truth, that's one of my very valued parts, but some of those Powerstones that he saw, they appear to be active, according to my indexes here. He says, and it even looks like one of them is, in fact, for the Mythal at Mithdranor. It's a few hundred miles from here, but to be able to teleport an army across the continent, it could be valid, he says.
I'm wondering, does it make any sense to try to steal that? Like, if this is something that's gonna, I mean, would it make sense to try to get the lords on our side and just like get that item above the board first?
Maggie gets a chaos point for that suggestion.
Gets a what?
Chaos point. That's not lawful at all.
Man, Gilfoyle wants chaos points.
So does Aranith.
You haven't gotten caught stealing anything since like episode 3.
Well, Aranith is certainly willing to go any way about it that she needs to get that rod in the long run.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I guess we could try talking first.
And actually, Gilfoyle, I would give you a chaos point as well for finding the City Watch thing and not turning it in.
Well, I hope or plan to have Gilfoyle have about 100 things like that never get turned in.
I'm assuming that the pin is stuck in an orange somewhere.
Yeah, he just has a bag of stuff that's random. Like there's probably, there's magic items. There's maps to everything. The end game loot is probably already in my bag. There's everything's in there. He just forgets about it, so it doesn't matter.
There is one other thing in those news clippings that you found, Arianth, that it describes the libraries of Candle. There's actually a print down at the bottom that says like copyright Candlekeep Library, and it's got like the person who actually magically scribed its name on it and stuff, and it's got like a little address that just says Southern Sword Coast, 50 miles south of Baldur's Gate. We'll say. Maybe it says 100. I don't know. It's hard to read. It seems to change a little bit depending on the angle you look at the book.
Where is that in reference to where we are now?
It is pretty far to the south. It's probably farther than you've already traveled from Neverwinter down to Waterdeep. Is probably half that distance to Baldur's Gate, and then another 3/4 of that to get to Candlekeep. You'd be able to find it on a map fairly
right.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of guesstimating from memory, but
That's something to keep in mind for later once we're done with this.
Mm-hmm.
yep, just another thing that you make note of, where it's like, maybe there's clues there about these things, and it actually Gilfoyle, I would say even at the museum, it would probably say under under certain Powerstones, donated by some person's name from Candlekeep. From the Candlekeep Library Archives or something like that.
Okay, so was there one that was going to take us to Mithranor that was hundreds of miles away? Did that have a person that was donated by?
Nope. There was nothing labeled Mithranor in the museum itself.
Okay.
No.
That's just
All right.
something that
Reggie
Reginald
just
told me.
seems to be aware of the location of magic items and what their last status was, kind of.
Well, speaking aloud as Gilfoyle, I'll say if there's one we want, we could definitely look into sneaking some letterhead from that family and then getting it undonated to us.
Well, I quietly say to Gilfoyle, whatever happens, we have things to discuss later.
Right.
Do you folks want to talk to that wizard? I don't want to keep pressing it.
I'd certainly be interested in going to talk to a wizard. I always find interest in learning new things magically.
Yeah, I'd like to see what what's his face has to say about our Reginald there has to say after that meeting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually, I asked Reginald about the wizard.
Yeah, good call.
He says, "Oh, the Blackstaff is well, it's not really one wizard. It's sort of an appointed position, sort of. It's complicated. The Blackstaff itself is, well, sort of like me. It's a sentient staff. It has a personality and it assists in the control of dangerous magics around Waterdeep. The person who is in control of it is they're a direct descendant of and I can't remember the guy's first name, but of an ancient wizard that was of the Blackstaff lineage. He says he was really the first Blackstaff, and they've always had a hand in things in Waterdeep, usually for the better. Not always, but usually, he says. They're typically considered to be on the side of justice and good.
What about this one in particular?
He says, records on the Blackstaffs get a little fuzzy. There are no reports of him doing anything awful. Not really many reports on him at all, as a matter of fact. Just that, I wish I'd written these names down. Just his name, his general age of being about 40 years old or so. Description, long black hair. Yes, that's in line with the Blackstaff line. They all have the same kind of pale countenance and long black hair.
All right. Oh, also as a aside, I mentioned to Tohan that I picked up the book on alchemy so that I can make various potions that he may be interested in.
Neat. I wonder if that curiosity shop might have any components for you.
I say I would love to check it out, but unfortunately I spent all the gold I had on the book, so I will have to look into maybe selling a few things to purchase items. However, if there is anything that you would like me to make for you, feel free to buy any items and I will happily make it.
We have like 180 party gold that I've been holding on to. Plus, I personally have like 75 gold. So, I mean,
yeah, I just spent my 60 on that book. I actually thought I had more, but I was wrong. I only had the 60. I have a few things I can probably sell to make some gold, but
plus we have like 700 gold pieces worth of gems, pretty much.
nice.
Like a gold circle and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's like, so I mean, we're not investing in real estate here. So whatever you want, to spend to like make potions and stuff, I'm totally cool with you doing.
Awesome.
So
And the same goes for anything that anybody wants me to make. If you hand me the ingredients, I'll be more than happy to make it.
Yes, and
Nice.
you would know too, Jen, just from having skimmed through the book, that gemstones themselves can sometimes be used in making potions as well, as a direct ingredient.
Okay.
Like crushed gemstones and things. Sometimes the incantation over it needs to be used. And I think most potions, I can probably find actual ingredients that are canonical for them too, if I need to here. So you guys are heading to the Blackstaff Tower, right? All of you?
Is that what everybody's cool with?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I am cool with whatever the group does. I'm here for the group.
I want to see a black talking stick.
Let's do it.
All right. So as you guys make your way,
Gilfoyle takes you around back of the bar.
Black dog and stick, huh? Watch this. So, as you guys are headed there, you're witness to about probably 60 armed men parading down the street in full marching formation, and at the head of them is there's a person that's dressed very elegantly, robes, little bits of armor poking out from under the robes, but it seems to be like ceremonial armor. And you hear one of the nearby commoners say something along the lines of, "Yeah, nobles on parade again." It's just this giant cadre of people just marching through the street with their own kind of personal house insignia on their clothes. And this is something that the locals kind of like, they look up, they watch the parade for about 30 seconds, and they're, yeah, okay, whatever. They're not really impressed by it, but it is like a full-blown, like, military regiment walking down the street. And this happens probably twice while you're on your way to the Blackstaff Tower where you see this. And upon questioning one of the locals about it, they would explain to you, like, this is fairly common in Waterdeep. This is like, the houses are just moving troops around, probably to go do military exercises down in the naval yard, or any number of things that are part of the Waterdeep militia, which is kind of where the city guard gets a lot of its guardsmen from.
Maggie rolls her eyes.
So,
These
As-
fucking guys.
as you guys get to Blackstaff Tower, you see this is a really big, like, obvious tower in the middle of the area that it's in. And there's a small stone bridge that goes over, like, almost like it's like a ceremonial moat. It's like just a moat in name only. It's really just kind of a puddle of water. But it seems to be moving rapidly around the base of the tower like a river would. Like, it's like almost whitewater levels of rapids, and it seems really deep. The stone bridge is probably 10 feet wide. What order would you guys like to go across the bridge in?
Oh boy.
I'll take the lead.
Okay.
Should we roll initiative? to figure it
No,
out?
I just wanted to know who's going first, essentially. So we'll just say as you get there, Tohan, you
This means there's a goat, isn't there?
you're stopped, essentially dead in your tracks, like almost as if you kind of bumped into a wall, right when you get to the middle of the bridge.
I keep trying to walk. I try to push through that.
So you're Mr. Beaning, and the rest of the party can kind of see you just doing this, like, the hell, like, why can't you put your shoulder into it? You're just like, your feet are sliding on this stone, like scratches from your toenails, because Dragonborn, that's awesome.
I ask Reginald what's going on.
He says it seems that the Blackstaff Tower is on some sort of lockdown. I wonder if this is like one of those games that I like to play where the area is locked until you complete something else. Huh. You guys haven't asked for
Alrighty
a
then.
DM, sorry.
We didn't buy this DLC yet.
Have to go
unlocked,
pay for
yeah.
the expansion pack.
Achievement not unlocked.
But we'll say that a messenger comes out from the door and he says, "Can I take a message for you to the Blackstaff? Sorry, we're having a bit of technical difficulty with the tower's defenses right now, and for your own safety, we'd advise you not go inside." You hear, like, that classic scream, like, "Wah!" from inside. Big crash. They got some shit going on in there, probably.
Sounds like they got their hands full.
Random blasts of
Maggie
light
says
coming out of windows and stuff.
Maggie responds, we're on a quest to stop a lich from taking over the Far East, and have heard that the Blackstaff may help us in this, and need to speak with them as quickly as possible.
And she says, "Yes, I assure you the Blackstaff has been informed. There's been 6 adventuring parties by here today to let us know about the occurrences in the east." She says, "But can I get your name and I'll have him get back to you."
I also mentioned that we are specifically looking for the twins that are a huge part of the Lich's power, and whom we have been questing with and for.
Okay, so the like herald or squire kind of looks at you and gives you the this is so above my pay grade eye roll. And he just says, "Yes, and I'm sure that your story is particularly interesting, but for now, if I could just get your names, and you'll locate your residence here in Waterdeep, and we will be sure to send someone for you as soon as the Blackstaff has his hands free." Another big explosion comes from inside the tower.
Do we have like a party name? I don't think we do, right?
We don't.
Not yet, no.
Messenger says, "You don't have a party name in your adventurers? Huh, how droll." What does your DM put on the title screen?
It's like where you get to that part of the game and you're like, "Oh, I have to name my character now. Shit, what am I going to name it? I don't know. I've been playing all this time."
That's why they got the random name generator.
All right, can we just give him a generic name for now and think of a real one later?
Sure.
Sure. What's your
Yeah,
generic
the
name?
Goonies or something. I don't know.
What'd you say?
The Goonies might actually be it.
The Goonies?
The Goonies?
Okay.
I'm down with that.
All right. He's like,
We're all
right.
in that age category where The Goonies was a great movie to all of us.
Oh, hell yeah.
We never say die.
That's my childhood.
All right, got it. Goonies never say die, he writes down. He folds it up in... He seems to make about 3 folds, and he just sort of takes the piece of paper and flips it into the air, and it becomes a little bird and flies up towards the top of the tower. He says, "Well, if there's nothing else, I've best be getting back inside. I'm sure I've got cleaning to do." And his shoulders slump, and he turns around and kind of goes back inside, kind of like, ugh.
Oh.
He's clearly having a rough day.
All right. Anything else by here? Or
Nope. I think we got to unlock whatever we got to do first.
I think we need to go dungeon diving.
Dungeon diving it is,
All right.
fellas.
let's
Ladies
dive.
and gents.
I mean, I don't know if we want to pick up some more rations and torches and anything else that we might need before we do that, but
I think I'm pretty much good.
I'll have my
What
oranges.
All right, besides the power zone, is there any other goals that we're trying to accomplish by going down into this Undermountain?
make $2,000 worth of gold so we can buy Vanadia's parents out of debt.
Okay, fair enough.
And bring people back to life if they die.
Yeah, or we get enough gold to get their own airship or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, you have
that'd
seen
be pretty sweet.
airships coming in and out of Waterdeep this time, like over the last day and a half now. Like you've seen 2 that have come in that are decent sized, where they would probably have a few hundred people on them.
Yeah, an airship's only like 120,000 gold or something like that.
well, or free if you steal one.
Good point.
You guys are really
I don't know how Volk would feel about any of that. We're missing our lawful good guy.
No, we would have to definitely, misinform him.
Meanwhile, we cut to a scene of Volk, and he's in the temple, and he's just literally doing that like crazy like like self-proselytation thing, like, "Forgive me, Lord, I was bad, I broke a law accidentally," like banging his head on the ground, like hitting himself.
Speaking in tongues with like a nosebleed.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if any of you have played...
Self-flagellations going on.
Yeah, exactly. He's like whipping himself. Like, if you played Darkest Dungeon at all, that's got a lot of that in it, where you have to go pay penance for things. It's funny.
Lovely.
That's a great game. It's a wonderful, wonderful game. So, yeah, we could assume that you guys are back at the Yawning Portal then. So when you get back there...
Be right. Give me a minute.
Okay. Yeah, when you're back there, Durnan kind of warned you. He says, "I would say beware. Not all who enter Undermountain return. It is not an easy task to best the Mad Mage's traps and creatures." He says he's been laying these things for hundreds of years, putting them down there in wait for adventuring parties, and although I myself was quite fortunate and was able to come up with enough gold to build this place and do everything I've done in my life, I wouldn't wish being lost down there on anyone, so be sure to keep track of where you are.
I asked Reginald if he knows of anything we should bring with us, or if he has a way to keep track of where we are.
He says, "Well, I suppose I could map it for you, but it would take me... It wouldn't be in real time," he says. "It would probably take me a while to actually get you a map of the area that you were in."
But by the time we were ready to go back, would you have it?
Oh, yes, I could help you find your way back, yes.
All right, so that we got going for us. And is there any items that you think we should procure for our trip down?
Oh, well, when I used to be an adventurer, he says, I would bring such things as a 10-foot pole, I would bring torches, I would bring flasks of oil, but I don't know, that was 2nd edition.
Well, I asked the barkeep if he can give us all the provisions we might need.
Durnan says, I don't carry general goods here, but the shop next door does, and they make a killing at it. So if you want cheaper prices, you'll have to go up the street, and he gives you like a guy's name that'll give you decent prices. So anything you guys would want out of the player's handbook of the equipment lists would be available. It's a good-sized general trade store.
We're pretty well stocked on torches, and Maggie's got a light cantrip too. FYI,
Do we need any more food or anything like that?
I have quite a bit from my beginner's pack already.
Well, what did we get from? I mean, I think we lost most things that were in. Or no,
we lost a wagon full of stuff.
Yeah, the wagon full of stuff is gone. But...
Well, we got. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know how much we were keeping on the wagon. I wrote down. I put them together, but right now I think we have 28 rations.
Yeah, I have 9 myself in my.
Because we picked up like 2 weeks worth of rations from like that farmer.
Yeah, you traded stuff. Yeah, you traded the farmer's grain for like other food, I think, and you also had like jerky and stuff. So it's very possible that you have that many. Because you guys were like hoarding food at the beginning.
Yeah,
we haven't needed it because we keep on staying places where they're like, "Here, dinner's on us" or whatever. So
yeah,
and I still have.
I should still have any beginning rations that I got from initial starter stuff.
And I still have 29 torches written down.
And I've got 30.
Nice. So. Wow. I have 9.
I think we're set.
Right. So Durnan tells you that for just a gold piece, he will gladly send you down the trolley. You're free to climb, though, if you want to try and climb down the well in the center. He says, one thing that I would recommend you bring is rope. He says, it can't hurt to prevent you from getting separated from your party, or if you have to scale a cliff face in there, or says there's.
I have 50 feet of rope.
He's like,
I have 50 feet.
There's quite a bit of climbing involved in the lower levels, I believe. So, I don't know how far down you intend on going down there, but
maybe we should each have 50 feet or something like that.
I have 50.
I have 50.
He says, well,
I also have just for general FYI, I have a spell for mending things, so if anything breaks, I can mend most things as long as it's not a huge break or issue.
I mean, I don't know if I don't have any pitons, so I don't know if we want any of those for like climbing. But
I have 10. I don't really know how many you need, but
I have 10.
just like spikes.
So yeah, it's like,
yeah, we can use each other's to build a long chain of them if we had to. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, as you're kind of like doing like an inventory, I would almost assume, and like as this is happening now, it's starting to get a little bit later in the day. It's like mid-afternoon because you guys are kind of jaunted back and forth on your little errands and stuff of going to the store and whatnot. And now the place is kind of getting full again. It's like that just about happy hour time where people are really starting to come in force. And Durnan's getting busy. He's got a few people helping him at the bar and stuff. And that, as they're seeing you lay out all these weapons, people are starting to take bets on how many of you come back. You hear one of them say, "Yeah, I bet they'll be back less than a 10-day, and they'll probably be down 3 members." And somebody else yells, "I'll take that bet!" And you see coins exchanging hands. And, Durnan is actually holding bets for people behind the bar. He's got like almost like a system of mailboxes where he puts the bets, similar to like what the guy in the fighting pit did. Seems to be kind of a commonplace way for like escrow to occur for these sorts of things. And in the meantime, Durnan is stoked because he's making a killing on the overage and on selling drinks to these guys. So he's like encouraging all this betting. He's like, "Yeah, you never know, they might make it all the way back." And he's like, sounds like he's gunning for you guys, but you're pretty sure that he's just trying to make an extra couple bucks. And it's something that he's very used to doing.
I want to bet
Gilfoyle
some
will
money
put 10
on
silver
us.
on not coming back.
I put 10. I'm going to put 5 gold on us coming back.
He says to Gilfoyle, "So you're putting 10 silver on your whole group not coming back?
At least one of us.
At least one of you not coming back. All right.
Yes.
We'll put that.
I like the other one because there's no he can ever collect.
I was ironically going to do that, but I was like, all right, you know.
He says, "All right, well, seems a bit shady, don't you think? What if you just stab one of your teammates in the back?" He says it wicked loud, though he's looking at all of you and kind of...
Me? I would never.
Meanwhile,
I would never do that.
Cut back to Valk. Valk's still banging his head on the ground. "I feel as though I've missed something recently. I don't know, I just sense crime." He's all mad. So yeah, he kind of shrugs, takes your 10 silver, puts it in one of the boxes, gives you a little ticket stub that's got your number on it. And he says, "Well, is there anything else, or should I have my new employee lower you down?" And as you look over at the cranes, you realize that the very large kind of half ogre or possibly ogre that's standing at the crane is none other than Knuckles, that was previously at the orc camp. He says, "Hiya, guys. How you been?"
Hey, Knuckles.
"Well, I didn't
Is this
know
one
you
of-
was here."
Let me do our secret handshake.
Oh, Gilfoyle would totally know a secret handshake with him. It'd be like some crazy marine shit.
Is this one of the Hestia followers or one of the Valk followers?
No, this is one of Ashnak's private guard that he had in the original tent that never really got to the battlefield.
Gotcha.
And you hadn't seen him up to this point at all, so it seems like he must have just been transported nearby somewheres. He says, "Yeah, Durnan, he's brought me in here a couple of days ago. Told me to stay in the cellar for a bit until everybody got used to me. But he told me he'd give me a job. He pays me 2 silver a day just to turn this handle. Isn't that great?" Meanwhile, you know for a fact that like at least a couple times a day somebody goes down or up this thing and pays a gold for it. That's like on the slow days. Like weekends, you might have like
Right.
15 adventuring parties that are getting lowered in there.
Maggie gives the bartender a hard look and says, "We don't want any trouble. How about you let us down cheat.
Durnan kind of looks and he goes, "Sorry, this is a rule. 1 gold piece for the party."
I flip him a gold.
And he just catches it and he drops it into a separate box. And Gilfoyle, make me a perception check.
Oh boy. I perceive a 9.
Okay. So you look because you thought you saw something moving in that box where he threw that single gold piece, but as you look, you don't see any gold pieces in the box. There's just nothing in that box. So just a flick of movement, and then there's no gold in there.
I tell the others, I think that box is a mimic.
Durnan kind of looks at it for a minute. Mimic? So I keep my mimic out back. That there, he says, that's something a bit different. The way I reckon it, this gold piece, it goes someplace to, well, I can't keep you safe, but I can at least put in a good word to try. That's why I charge the gold, he says.
Okay.
So yeah, are you
All
guys...
right, Maggie said, make sure Knuckles is taken care of well.
Yeah, I tip Knuckles 2 Electrum.
Nice.
Wow! Thanks! You're swell! And he bites down and he literally bites one of the pieces in half and just starts chewing it like... I saw that in one of them head movies that I have when I sleep. Tropic Thunder Shadow.
Nice.
So yeah, are you guys ready to climb onto the winch and get lowered down into the depths of Undermountain?
Let's get wind.
No time like the present.
Durnan says, if your quest is for these artifacts you were talking about, your best bet may be to go all the way down to Skullport. That's on level 3. He says, it's a bit of an odd town, he says. This sort of exists outside the realm of Waterdeep laws, even though it's directly below us. You may find more information about what you're looking for there. Now, I wish you luck, he says, and he just kind of gives Knuckles a thumbs up, and Knuckles is like, okay, and the ogre starts cranking, like, fast, like, and you guys are, instead of dropping kind of steadily, and you hear Durnan as you're dropping, he's going, whoa, 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 slow down! So you guys are 20 feet down in a span of just a few seconds before there's kind of a jar on the rope and the thing rattles off the walls a few times, and I need everybody to make a dexterity check to see if you stay on or if you fall off the last 15 feet.
All right. I think I fall. I fall.
24.
I just rolled a natural 1.
I will say it's a DC of 10, just so you guys can figure out if you fell or not.
Yeah, I figured a 2 was a fall.
Okay. So anybody that falls takes...
Nice guy, 18.
Jesus,
Oh my god,
you
guys,
are
what is with
terrible.
us?
You're all
I got a
very
13.
non-fleet-footed. Okay, so what's that? That is... Let me see... not on my page anymore. So yeah, it would be a DC 10, so if you failed it, roll 1d4 damage for yourself of falling damage. It's not a very long fall, just enough to be unpleasant.
2.
I got 1.
My dexterity check was a 13, so
Yeah,
I'm good.
you
I
don't
didn't
take
fall.
damage, yep.
I fell really hard.
When you guys land, you probably would have
shit, I
taken
did.
more damage because, well, we'll say you were like 15 or 20 feet up, but instead of rolling the 1d6 per 10 feet, you take a little less because you land in a large hill of sand. And it's, I mean, like, just a big mound where you landed falling off from this thing. And the winch comes the rest of the way down to where the rest of you are able to kind of step off. It stops sort of at the top of this pile of sand. And the people that fell off are kind of slid down it a little bit just to be out of the way of the thing. Let's see. This is where I get into changing scenes. Da-da-da. And there you are.
Ooh.
Hey guys, that's us.
Yeah, sorry that they're probably not super accurate, but I'm trying something a little different. Instead of using Tabletop Simulator and having all kinds of crazy windows open on my computer and then making them go haywire half the time, I'm trying to import everything directly into OBS. So these are actually all individual images that are movable in the broadcast software, which is kind of interesting. It's a different approach to it. It's not using any virtual tabletop software. And so you
Hey,
guys
I think
find
just
yourselves...
use only as much technology as is necessary.
Yeah, exactly. It's like simplifying it a little bit, hopefully. So yeah, you guys find yourselves on top of this kind of, we'll say like 8 to 10 foot pile of sand that's up. And as soon as you're off, you hear Durnan, and he says, "All right, 3 seconds, everybody off." And 3 seconds go by, and Knuckles begins kind of winding the thing back up. And it goes up pretty quick as well, and you hear Durnan again kind of yelling at him from the top of the thing, but it's not really distinguishable this time. And you find yourselves in a room that's about probably 40 foot wide. It is not lit, so assuming that you strike a torch, you find that the torch only lights up about 20 feet around you. This is both for...
I also have a light. I have a light spell too that I can cast at will.
Okay. What's the radius on that, just so I know?
20-foot radius.
Okay, perfect.
And a dim light for an additional 20 feet.
Okay. We will say, for the sake of this adventure, that if you try casting that to get a little extra from what the torches are even, you get about the 20-25 feet of visibility, and then it seems to kind of cut off. And you're not sure, but you think this could probably be some sort of a magical effect, being the, wizard dungeon. Plus your DM was trying to figure out how to keep secrets hid. So, you notice...
how many of us have dark vision?
I have a 120-foot dark vision.
Yep.
Yeah, I have 60.
And again, kind of the same thing occurs, where, like, your dark vision allows you to see pretty clearly out to this 20 feet, and then it just sort of stops, like somebody threw up a wall. It's almost like if Jen and Arianth had cast that darkness spell.
Okay.
Was that you? Or am I thinking of the
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, I do have that.
So it's like sort of a similar effect to that. It would be akin to, but you still get your 20 feet. And you do remember kind of hearing about Hallister liking to toy with people. So maybe this is part of his machinations. Machinations?
Machinations.
So yeah, you find yourselves in a room that's probably 40 foot wide by 40 foot long. And the only visible exit is to the southwest of you, in a 10-foot wide hallway, it looks like. What would you guys like to do?
Should we see if there's secret doors or take the obvious way?
Gilfoyle, want to do some reconnaissance?
Gilfoyle will scout around.
Okay. Where would you like to scout to?
Okay, I will scout. Well, I guess north.
North. Okay. So yeah, you.
And I will stealth.
Okay.
And I have a 24 for stealth.
All right. So yeah, Gilfoyle immediately like disappears into the north corner of the room in the shadows, and what is your passive perception, Gilfoyle?
Passive 11, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, you would be able to see this. You feel a breeze coming through the wall, and you kind of look and you notice there is like a small seam, and in the center of what appears to be some sort of a secret door, there is a pair of small holes that go through the door. And as you go to peer up into them, kind of on your tiptoes, you reach up, you hear a startled gasp, and then footsteps running away.
Look through the hole quickly.
It is too dark to see anything on the other side of the wall. You do see
I check for traps.
some sort of light fading away in the distance. Go ahead and give me an investigation check to check for traps.
12.
Okay, you detect no traps.
Okay. Is the door unlocked?
There is no discernible way to open this door as far as you can tell. Like, there just seems to be a seam, and then the two holes in the center, and it's door sized and door shaped, but there's no obvious like hinge. There's no obvious lever or button around.
Can we like stick a tool in one hole and out the other and try to pull it?
Or,
Yeah.
well, once he gets back to us, can I ask Reginald about it?
Sure, I mean, you guys would be able to just see him on the edge of the shadows as he's kind of moving around on this door. So
Well, I asked
we'll
Reggie
see.
if he knows of a way to open the door.
He says, seems mechanical in nature. There's nothing really magical about it. It just seems like a piece of stone with holes drilled in it.
It's like, let me try my key, I say, and I pull my crowbar and put it in the seam and try to break it open.
Okay, give me a strength check, DC 15.
Maggie gives him guidance, so an extra D4.
I rolled an 18.
Nice. So yeah, you're able to, you kind of wedge the crowbar in there, and after kind of jimmying and shaking for a minute, you realize that this thing lifts up, and you push straight up on this crowbar, and you're able to lift it about halfway up, so that there's like a 3 foot tall or 2.5 foot tall like doorway that's open now.
Does it stay open without him using his strength, or is he using his strength to keep it open?
No, he's holding it open right now, and it is.
When do you guys
down.
want to put one of those pitons here to hammer it in?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. So you guys hammer in one of the iron spikes, and you now have an half open door.
So who among us can fit through that?
Oh, you could all fit through if you just go.
I was gonna say all of us.
Yeah,
I think.
you could
Yeah,
kind
okay,
of go
cool.
hands and knees or crouch real low.
Uh-huh.
Gilfoyle could probably just duck a little bit and walk under it.
You could limbo it.
He limbos it, yeah.
Maggie's old and stiff, and she has them kind of pass her through the door.
Yeah, like trying to like move, but just getting pushed by the feet along the bottom. Okay, so you guys are going through into that room.
Yep.
Okay. Gilfoyle, are you still kind of in the lead?
Yes, I'll keep scouting.
Okay.
Maggie will go back to that constant guidance thing, so she'll give it to whoever's up front, basically.
Gotcha. Rolling guidance.
Yep.
All right. So you guys step into the next room and you see something similar to this. Kind of a few corridors that head off, and let me just double check my numbers.
Can I listen and see which way that creature went?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make a perception check for me again.
5.
Yeah, so you kind of hear some sort of echoing, but right now you're looking at a hall to your north and a hall to your west, and it sounds as if the echo could be coming from both.
All right, we're going north.
Yeah. Do we want to ask the area on staff there, Reginald, if he can keep track of our path here, or should we be tracking our own path?
Well,
She had
Reginald
checked
was
with him.
already doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like recording it so that you guys will have a way out, but he's not really able to like give you like a ahead of time map of the place.
Okay.
He's sketching the map for you. So you guys head north, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you come to a door on the west wall.
Okay. I will listen in.
Check here. So not used to running stuff out of a book. It's weird. So you listen, and you do not hear anything at the door.
Is it unlocked?
It is unlocked.
I silently open the door.
All right. The first thing that you see when you enter this next hall is that standing atop large stone plinths in the middle of the room, facing towards you, are 3 6-foot-tall statues depicting someone that looks very similar to the nobles of Waterdeep that you had seen walk by earlier that day.
I asked Reginald about him. Does Reggie know anything?
He says there seems to be nameplates on them. And it seems that I do detect a trace of magic here. Yes, there's something here. I can't quite tell what, though. Probably help us if I had my separate map out so I could look at it the whole time. Oops.
Yep, I'll go read the name. Right? Read the names.
Okay.
Good call.
Get you guys into the actual hall where you are. Here we go. So this is the hall that you guys are in. You kind of can wander around a bit. So as you read the first name on the statue, one of them has the name Elendron that's the southern statue. The central statue has the name Rueth Indar, and the north statue has the name Omphalos on it. You notice that each of these have been scribbled out with chalk or like a sharp piece of slate or something, and beneath them, new names have been written, or at least something new has been written. Do any of you speak Goblin?
Wait, I'm trying to remember. Hang on.
I speak Orc.
Okay, so you'd be able to tell.
No, I don't.
Goblin and Orc writing is sort of similar in its fashion. It just maybe one letter's backwards from another or something. But you notice that, yes, these are in fact names that have been scrawled over the top of these statues. And they replaced it with Smelly Bottom. The central one says Stupid Skull. And then the top one says Born Toothless. You also
Stupid
notice...
Skull, new party name.
You also notice that
Well,
lying at the base of the center statue are a set of bones and what looks to be a white wooden staff that is broken in half.
I asked Reginald about all of these things.
He says, well, the bones belong to a hobgoblin. The staff doesn't register, he says.
And the people?
Says, seems that they were Waterdavian nobles of some sort. Probably just something from the city above before part of it was brought down here at some point. I don't really know, he says.
Thank you, Reggie. I appreciate all your help.
Does the white staff look like it's a special anyway, or is it just like a stick, basically?
It is covered with some pretty ornate designs on it.
Aaron, do you think you can try to mend this?
I can certainly try. Hold on, let me get to my mending spell. This spell repairs a single break or tear in an object you touch, such as in a broken chair linked 2 halves of a broken key, a torn cloak, or a leaking wineskin. As long as the break or tear is no larger than 1 foot in any dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace of the former damage.
Yeah.
The spell can physically repair a magical item or construct, but the spell can't restore magic to such an object.
Yeah. So it seems like your mending spell would absolutely be able to put this back together. Is that what you do?
Well, I asked Reginald first if there's any danger in me doing it.
He says, no, don't believe so. Doesn't seem to be any immediate danger to anyone. I've run all the standard detect evil, detect magic, that sort of thing, and doesn't seem to come back as anything other than some sort of trace
Do I
magic on it.
recognize the language on it? Or the symbols?
Yeah, they are. Second, I need to dig something out here. You would recognize these as being Elder Runes. An Elder Rune is something that people have attributed to Hallister Blackcloak, and this is probably something you would have read in the library books when you were reading brief stuff about Undermountain. Hallister would often imbue objects with these Elder Runes, and they would have sometimes positive, sometimes negative, and sometimes just very odd effects.
All right. I asked the party what their consensus is on whether I should mend this or not.
I don't have a strong opinion on this one.
I say fix it.
Yeah, let's fix it.
Can't hurt.
Or
All right.
In theory, I guess.
Screw it. Let's do it.
Okay, so you reach out, and a small glow kind of comes from the tips of your fingers, and the staff, where it was broken in two, begins to kind of slowly stitch itself back together, and then more quickly, and after about a minute, the staff seems whole again. It's just sitting there on the floor.
Tohan picks it up.
Okay. Immediately, you hear, "Help! Thief! Criminal!
I look around.
Help! This dragonborn thing, this gray man is trying to steal me!"
Another talking stick.
Can everyone hear this, or is it just in my head?
It is loud. It is echoing off the dungeon chambers.
I asked Reginald to intervene.
I break the stick.
Don't break the stick.
Ba-da-ba-da. Nice.
I quickly asked Reginald to intervene and explain to the other stick what's going on.
He says, "Well, I'm sort of understanding now. It seems the hobgoblin took this from an adventurer." "No, that's not right," he says. "The hobgoblin found this, and it was an adventurer's. It's fading now," he says. I think... "Oh God, I think this is a trap," he says. "Quickly, you must move." At this point, you hear several sets of footsteps headed from the hallway to your immediate west.
Is the stick still yelling, or was I able to break
It's
it?
like when you broke it, it sort of faded away, like like let out like a crazy like death gurgle.
I want to keep both pieces, if I ever need something like that.
Yeah, I mean, mending's a cantrip. You could just bring this thing back to life and kill it again. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Next time I want to make a scene somewhere, it seems like a good thing.
Yeah.
I asked Reggie if that's all that white staff is good for, is making a loud scene.
He says, "Well, I don't really seem to have any way to know unless it's together. It seems to have some sort of a scrying block on it. I can't really get a read on it. Right now, it just seems like a stick to me. Well, two sticks," he says. Kind of sticks his tongue out and goes,
I
"Don't appreciate all this anti-staff violence, by the way."
I turn to Tohan and say, I would like to mend the staff later when we are done with our journey.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I guess meanwhile, Maggie's moving towards the sound of these encroaching feet, just kind of getting ready for whatever's coming.
All right. Yeah, as you guys are kind of discussing this stick and the things that are going on, from the west hallway charges out Let's see. 4, 5 figures out of the darkness. Make sure that I can actually do this ready here.
Do we see them?
I would say you just start to see them.
What can we make out about them?
Let's see.
That,
2, 3, 4.
that they're ninjas. Or they're being responsible mask wearers.
Right. How far apart are they standing? Are they 6 feet apart?
Proper social distancing in dungeon.
So we'll say, because my thing doesn't want to move around too well on me here, you guys were probably right about there when these guys came out of that room. Matter of fact, here's what I'm going to do. I will actually get rid of the light field thing. We can say that they've got torches too, and it's lighting the room up. This is the downfall of doing this all in OBS, is that since I just came up with this today, I'm like, oh crap, what do I do again for this? Let's see, dot mask goes away. Bloop. So now you guys.
It is cool. So you have some kind of like a mask there that you're moving around with everything.
I'm just overlaying things. Is all that it is. Like all these tokens are all just image overlays. Unfortunately, they're all grouped, which I probably shouldn't have done. So if I ungroup all of them, then they're all going to go flying all over the place. That was a poor choice on my part. So yeah, these you see 4 kind of masked men run out, along with one that's clearly wearing a little bit better armor and things, and next to the one that has slightly better armor is 2 kind of lanky gray figures that are man-shaped, but they don't have very clear facial features, or they look sort of like balls of clay almost. Or,
I asked Reginald if he knows anything about what we're facing.
He says, well, these appear to be a bandit gang, miss. They're fairly common here in the Underdark, as I understand it. Good hideout spots down here. Way to stay away from the city watch. He says, as for those 2 gray fellows over there, yes, those would be what are canonically referred to as Doppelgangers.
Ooh, fancy.
Do they have any strengths or weaknesses I should be aware of?
Well, their strengths seem to be imitating other people and sneaking up behind them and strangling them to death, as far as I know. But it's been known that they're intelligent. They've been known to cut deals with people, and they are a thinking creature, he says.
Maggie casts thaumaturgy to make her voice loud and yells, what are you doing here?
Right.
And Venadia casts a thaumaturgy of like rumbling thunder just to like kind of support that.
Okay. A few of the bandits kind of take a step back when that happens, but the bandit leader, he looks at you and steps forward a few steps, and he says, "Name's Uktar. I run these parts. See, me and the Undertakers here, we run a toll system. You want to get down to the lower levels, you got to pay the toll," he says. He kind of just squints at you guys.
I tossed him in a
Under what authority?
He looks at you and he goes, "What authority? My own authority."
How much?
He says, "Well, for my section of the dungeon, it'll be 100 gold. Of course, if you want safe passage back, that'll be 100 gold again. Oh, and if you make it into me mate's area, a little bit further along the line, he might be wanting a little something too." And at this point, some of the other bandits have kind of started to draw their weapons, And they're like, like blackjacks and cudgels and things, daggers, and they're like picking their fingernails and staring at you.
I want to approach him with like my hands up, like away from my axe, basically.
Okay.
And make him like in kind of to the right of the doppelganger there. And just like I'm thinking about it, and then I just want to vomit acid on all three of them if I can.
Okay, so I'll give that to you as a free action, because that was totally unexpected and awesome. But then I'll need everybody to roll initiative.
I had my finger on the button, so.
Gilfoyle had a stealth check of 20 to fade into the background and hide before the combat started.
Yep.
But I'll definitely be rolling initiative here.
I got a 16.
26, nat 20.
I got a 20.
Oh no, where'd my pencil go? Oh, no. Every time.
I got a 4. I'm guessing I'll be going last.
Right. Give me 1 second, guys. I just gotta grab a
21.
from my other bookcase.
1.
And all three of them take 7 acid damage.
Nice.
I never get to use the acid damage. That's what I was trying. You gotta take it full action,
awesome.
and it's just not worth it.
Right. Go big or go home.
Alright. Headset back on here. It's so weird having the headset not on, like walking away for a minute and then realizing that I'm still talking to myself. Like, oh, they can hear me. Huh. I can't hear them, they can hear me. Okay, sorry guys. So between 20 and 25, who had that for initiatives?
Gilfoyle had 26.
Okay.
Maggie had 21.
I had 20.
It's 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Does Venedia had 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I heard Ariant had a 4. Who am I? Oh, that's all 5 of you. Huh. I was like, there's not 6 of them. What happened? Oh, yeah. Okay, and... I'll dice Cammy here for a minute. Oof. Alright, so the bandits rolled a 3. Doppelgangers rolled a 19. Alright, so Tohan, fire off that acid and let me see what damage we do here.
It does 7 damage to each one.
Okay, automatically 7 damage.
Yeah, I rolled it.
Okay. Alright, so the Bandit Captain immediately is like, whoa! Like, the Doppelgangers, however, they each only seem to take partial damage from that, as the burns sort of just get covered over by more of their skin. It sort of just shifts and, like, seems to cover, like, it's not like they didn't get burned, it's just that they somehow sort of, like, moved the burn to under it's like a subdermal burn for them now.
Like they were resistant to acid?
Yeah, they were resistant to any form of acid attack.
Yeah, same guys.
Okay. So, Gilfoyle, what would you like to do?
I'd like to slide around next to one of these doppelgangers.
Okay.
And stabby.
Alright. You've got one guy down here, one guy on the right. You can
Yeah, go for the guy on the right.
Okay, I was gonna say you can get to the guy on the right without going by anybody else.
Yep. 15 hit.
I believe it does. Pull out my stat sheet here. Let me put that. Oh, there it is. That's the problem with having books. Pretty sure that hits. I was like, oh, I got stats for all of these guys in my books. I can just look them up real quick. Yes, it does hit.
Okay. He takes 10 damage from a magic weapon.
And
And then I also hit with a non-magical short sword for 7.
Okay.
And then I 5 feet back away from him, and I am also hitting him with Booming Blade on one of the attacks. So that only it does anything if he moves, but I can move 5 feet away after my move too.
Alright.
And he doesn't get an opportunity attack against me.
Yep. That part I remember. Alright, so yeah. You get in there and give him the old stabby stabs. And, although he takes damage, his wounds kind of seem to, shift to be subdermal. It's almost like they're more, seems to be more visual than actually, mechanical. Like, these guys are just so used to disguising their appearance that they disguise their appearance of being wounded as well.
All right,
So
do
we
they
can't
actually
tell if they're
bleed?
bloodied or not?
They do not bleed. So it is, yeah, exactly. Like, it's going to be very hard to tell when they are bloodied. They're just going to kind of look the same. Let's see, who's next? Maggie is next.
Alright, I guess she's gonna cast Toll the Dead on that same Doppelganger. So it's a D12 if the target is missing hit points.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Toll the Dead is saving throw for him, right?
Yeah, wisdom 16.
He got a 20. Alright, so he saves, yeah. That's save for nothing, right? For no damage?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
So let's see, yeah. Did you want to do anything else?
Oh, yeah, actually, I'll cast Spiritual Weapon as a bonus action, and let's see. Where are you? Here you are. All right, so that's 14 to hit.
Okay. And you're sending that at the same guy?
Yeah.
Okay. It hits.
Cool. 10 damage.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so yeah, he gets knocked for a loop by your frying pans.
Oh yeah.
Like a pair of them just come in and just cymbal on his head. He goes a little flat for a minute, then kind of squashes back out to... because shapeshifter, and I like imagery. Tohan.
Tohan's going to rage, and he is going to attack the Doppelganger right in front of him, unless they're already taking a bunch of damage.
Okay.
And he's going to attack Great Weapon Master, so he's going to take a -5 to hit, but do +10 damage if he does.
Got it.
Recklessly. So with advantage. So that's a...
That's a hit.
Yeah, okay.
Big hit.
So that's 25 damage, because +2 for raging, plus another 10. So 25 damage on that first hit.
Okay, he's dead.
All right. Well,
drops to the floor.
When I kill something, I get to attack again, and I'm going to go right next to the next Doppelganger if I can get to him. If not, I'll attack the big guy right in front of me.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say you're close enough to him that you can you just take a step, essentially.
So, yeah. So, for my second attack, I will do the same thing. So,
Okay.
Great Weapon Master, recklessly.
Let's see, that is...
That's a natural 19, so 23 to hit, which I assume does.
That's a hit, yep.
So that is 23 damage.
Okay, he's still standing.
And for my last attack, same thing as I did. It's a natural 18 to hit, so 22.
Yep.
That is 26 more damage. So 23 than 26. So 49 damage plus the 7 I already did to him.
He's dead. And he looks at you just before that last axe strike comes down, and he goes, "But why? You have such beautiful skin." And yeah, he's just left as a pile of gray goo on the floor. The bandit leader is still kind of clawing at his eyes. He's just shrieking. You know, he's in a lot of pain.
That was like 72 damage.
Yeah, that's insane. That was huge. I'm glad this is a big dungeon. So let's see. What's next? Grenadier.
I thought
I'm
the
gonna
bandits had a 19. Sorry.
fire with my crossbow right between the eyes of this boss here, boss man.
Okay.
That was an 18 plus 4, 22 to hit.
So.
Oh, and these are with sharpened bolts too.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, that's
so that's 4. It's just it would actually be plus 1 on top of that, so that should be 6 piercing damage.
okay. Let me just find him here. It's in the back, that's why. There he is. And taking his hit points. We're good. Did you have anything else to do?
I don't think so.
Okay. Alright, so he just kind of, he soaks that crossbow bolt and just, and kind of looks over in your direction, but still can't really, he's wiping the fucking dragon vomit out of his eyes still. Alright, Arianth, what would you like to do?
Alright, well. I will attack the bandit chief there with a firebolt.
Does that needs line of sight, I believe. You got Tohan right in front of him.
Oh wait, okay, never mind. Alright. So then actually
I mean, you can move, but you're gonna, if you want to get line of sight, you're either gonna have to move forward past Venadia, where she is, or, because technically I should have said she had to move too, but she duck around. So like, I don't have a good way to show you guys. Oh wait, yes I do. Ah, I did this on purpose. Where's my red axe? I put a thing in to fix this.
Alright, well, can you move me does the map face like north, south, east, west as I would normally look at it?
Yep, absolutely it does.
Alright, can you just move me south so that I would be within line of sight of him, but not
Sure,
in
like
Tohan?
there? Where that red X is?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay. And I had rolled a 7. Does that hit?
That is not gonna hit.
Alright, I will spend a sorcery point to reroll.
Okay.
1 second, sorry.
That hits.
Nice.
It definitely hits.
It wasn't a natural 20. 9 damage.
Okay. This poor guy, he's been burned, shot, or acid burned, shot, and then burned again with fire, or with, yeah.
And if there's anything flammable on him, it burns.
Oh yeah, his beard and his mask kind of go up. They're smoldering and smoking. Now he's freaking out because he's still trying to wipe the acid out of his face, but now he's physically on fire. So I don't even know if he could tell that he's physically on fire. You guys are mean. All right, so Now it is the bandit's turn. Let's see, you killed the other doppelganger already, which is him. Bandit number 1 is going to run up towards Tohan, and he's going to attempt to take a swing at him.
He has advantage because I attacked recklessly.
Okay. Let's see. These guys are kind of squishy, so I don't even know if he's going to hit or not. Okay, so each of these guys kind of has these, like, shitty-looking scimitars. They're not very nice. That's a 10. I'm assuming that does not hit you. Second guy is going to...
I have an AC of 15, yeah.
Yeah, so he's a swing and a miss. Second and third
That was
guys,
with advantage?
Yeah. Yeah, they run up to their boss guy and they grab him and they start trying to boogie. Which would put them... Let's see if I can do this. There. Okay, so they try to grab their boss friend and begin kind of scurrying him up to the north.
Boys, we're gonna boogie, and I'm gonna attack if they take that boss guy out of my reach.
Okay, so yeah, as they go to grab him and run past with him, you get your opportunity attack. Absolutely. And you're still raged too, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. I rolled a 19, but let's see if I can get anything better. Nope. Yeah, 20. Yeah, 28 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
That is 20 damage because I'm raging. That's a +2 to damage.
So this poor guy. I'm just picturing this, like, "Oi, give me all your money!" Blah, burn, shoot, chop with an axe. He falls down, and his 3 buddies just bolt. They fucking run straight to the north.
Surprised it didn't say that he's the new bandit leader.
No, these guys are out. They want no part of this Dragonborn that just destroyed, like, their 2 kind of muscle creatures, and then fucked up their leader's day. The leader, however, is still alive. He is just now prone and laying on the floor, bleeding, burnt, stabbed, shot. And he kind of looks up.
I
and
demand that he give us all the money he has on him in order to spare his life.
Yes, take it. And he
Well, that's not fair. Maybe just 100 to pass through our new territory.
No, I want it all.
I'm so glad Volk's not here right now. We must never speak of this. He'll never hear about this.
How much gold did we get?
Let's see.
Or how much money?
So he just points back to the room from which they came, and he says, "It's in there. It's all in there. Please, just take it." And if you follow where he's pointing into that room that they came out of to the west, you will find a small dead-end passage that, or I'm sorry, not dead-end. You go in there, and there's 2 rooms, one of which seems to be a sleeping quarters with about 8 beds in it. The other of which has a table on which is stacked several stacks of coins around the table, and there's some playing cards on the table. On this table, there is 220 copper pieces, 91 silver pieces, 85 gold pieces, and a silver ring worth about 25 gold, engraved with all kinds of Dwarven symbols commonly associated with fertility and sexual potency. I don't know why you guys know that or why I needed to know that to tell you that, but they're throwing it out there for the horny bards. It's the horny bards, man. They write them right into the game.
I asked Tohan, our banker, if he minds if I take 20 gold so I have something on me.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
thank you.
In the sleeping quarters, you actually find an additional 4 pouches, each containing around 60 gold. Probably the members' private stashes or something.
Sweet.
Yeah, well, they're not coming back for it, right? So,
nope, that's
we're taking it all.
They
What
might
was
be
the
coming back
ring
for it,
again?
but it
I'm
won't be
sorry.
there. It is a silver ring worth about 25 gold with a 90 gold piece. 90 gold pieces. 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 dwarven symbols of fertility on them. It literally says...
So worth 35 gold if you find somebody horny enough.
Yeah, apparently. A horny dwarf.
Or whose biological clock is ticking away.
Yep.
All right, Tohan, you ready to find that black stick now?
So in the room with the tables, there is one more door that goes off to the northwest. Here, I'll just zip you guys over there. So there's a little hallway. Up here is your sleeping quarters that you found. Or I'm sorry, down here is the sleeping quarters that you found, and up here is the table. So down here in the sleeping quarters, there is one additional door that leads up into the north a little bit.
Okay.
Before they leave, I guess Maggie will do some like really basic medicine, basically just to reduce the pain that chief is in.
Okay, and he's like, "Oh, thank you. Oh God, I'm sorry. Just please let me live."
Maggie says, "We will have safe passage through this, and we'll do everything you can to ensure that."
He says, "Yeah, I'll tell the takers. I'll tell all the undertakers not to harm you. Please, just let me go."
I think you're going to be our new guide down here.
Guide us well.
And I pull off 50 feet of rope and I tie a noose around his neck.
Nice. All right. I'll show you where you want to go. Where are you trying to get? He says.
I believe down. Next level, please.
To the next level? But... He says, all right, can I level with you? I've never actually been to level 2. All kinds of weird shit goes on down there right here.
Access level 2.
You're gonna be the first one through the door when you go for the first time.
He says, but if I get you to level 2, will you let me go? He says.
Done.
All right. Very well, he says. Stairs are in the south.
I rolled a 1 on my deception, by the way.
And so therefore he believes you.
Okay.
Oh no, you're saying you're trying to deceive him that you're gonna let him go? Okay. So he's just like, shit, but he doesn't really have another alternative. Fuck, these guys are gonna kill me.
It's like they're much the other ones are nicer.
He says, all right, well, I can lead you down.
Do you want to
there,
put? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, he's just, I can lead you down there, but you ought to know, some of Xanathar's guild hangs out down here too. They get into the row with me and the boys sometimes. They don't really like each other.
Are they bird people?
Yeah, some of them. Some of them black-feathered folk.
Yeah, I flick a feather off my shoulder, and I'm like, yeah, I met a couple. Let's go.
All right, so he leads you back the way you came, and he says, in order to get down there, you got to go back this way. And he takes you back out and back towards the room where you had previously come in, that secret entrance, that secret slidey door. He brings you down through there, and he actually hits a switch, and he looks at the door where you guys have it propped open, and it doesn't move, and he says, can you take the python out so I can flip this door open?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Alright, so he finds a little switch on the wall that's up under a rock someplace on this side, and he pushes it and the door slides open, which as soon as you pull the python out it slams closed. So the door is now slid open. He says, it's through here. He points at the door.
I let him lead, and I follow behind.
While we're walking, I asked the chief what he knows about that white staff that ratted us out earlier.
He says, oh yes, the only thing that I really was able to discern, as I said, was that it's got some sort of magic. Obviously, I don't think it was sent.
Oh no, I asked the bandit chief.
Oh, the bandit chief. Okay. He says, I don't know nothing about no staff. The only staff I know about is the ones that
through the door.
Alright, so he leads you guys back here. Let's try I wish I could unhook just one of these guys. Let's try this. Copy. Let's try copy pasting him. Bloop. Oh, come on. Where is it? Oh, because he's back. Beginning to see the downfall of using OBS exclusively. The token management is not the easiest thing in the world, that's for sure. But regardless, he leads you back down through the secret door and back to where you originally came. My mouse is being all wonky. There we go. And he says, right, what we got to do, we're going to go down here, we're going to take a right, and then we're going to take a left. Then we're going to keep going straight for a bit. And he's saying this, and he's kind of leading you down this direction as begins to lead you off to the west. He's getting a little bit louder and a little bit louder each time.
I pull on the rope and take in the news.
Yeah.
What is this way? He says.
Yeah, quietly.
Yeah.
Like the tomb, if you would.
No more funny business.
And he just looks and he kind of nods. And then oh no, where'd my D20 go? There we go. And then your DM makes a suspicious D20 roll. Okay. So yeah, you guys are slowly advancing. And you reach a point. My description page here. You reach a long hall, kind of, that you're in. It's about 20 foot wide or so, and at one end of it, ahead of you, stairs descend down into a room that seems to be lined with pillars. Similar staircases descend into the room from 10-foot wide tunnels leading northwest and south into the room with the lots of pillars. That is. So you notice that on the walls of this hallway that you're in, about every 10 foot or so, there is a huge, like, bas-relief carving of demons. And it seems like each demon is different. These are very intricate carvings, and they're very large. They're like 8-9 feet tall, like 4 or 5 feet wide, and like maybe 3 or 4 inches deep into the wall, where each one contains one of these.
I asked Reggie if he knows anything about them, and I also try to think back to my own studies to see if I know anything about them.
Sure. Roll me an Arcana check, with advantage, with Reggie's help.
Roll a what?
An Arcana check.
Okay. I also get our advantage, yeah. Ooh, well, 11.
Okay.
With advantage.
So Reggie looks and he says, these aren't really in my particular area of expertise. These are more of a, some sort of a religious staff's.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
business.
Can Maggie do a religion check?
Absolutely.
And I was gonna ask, is there anything written in Infernal?
Or primordial.
Let's see.
Because anything written in Infernal I can read.
I got 21 altogether on religion.
Okay, so Maggie, you would recognize these demons. So on the north wall, give you this information here. You see from east to west, like from the direction you were coming to the direction you're going, on the north wall is a Balor demon, a Barlgura demon, a Kazmi, a Dretch, a Glabrazu, a Garistro, and a Hezru. You would know these all to be demons specifically.
Mhm.
And I say that way because in Forgotten Realms, there is a noted difference between demons and devils. Demons are like chaotic evil forces that rip your fucking soul apart. Devils are lawful evil are lawful evil monsters that will contract your soul for 1,000 years. Just for frame of reference. So again,
Cool.
all demons. Let's see.
But Maggie relays that to them and kind of shudders.
Yep, and on the south wall, a Merilith, a Nalfishnay, a Quasit, a Shadow Demon, a Varrock, and a Yucklaw.
No holds barred.
I ask.
Yeah, it's all the demons. It's so many demons.
I ask Reggie if he knows anything about these names or recognizes them.
No. As I said, I'm more of a I'm not really too much of a religious fellow about things other than those regarding the Rod of Seven Parts. Says I know my history, but I'm not a demonologist.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if we were to encounter any of those, it would suck.
It's bad.
So towards the west end of the hallway, you also encounter what appears to be a skeleton that is got a beak very similar to those Kenku that you had come across before. And it's laying on the floor, and it is completely skeletonized. It is a full skeleton, and it's laying there straight as an arrow with one of its arms painted directly towards one of the relief images. Maggie, you would recognize that it's the one of the Nalfishnay on the south wall.
Does the skeleton look like recently skeletonized? Is it old?
We'll say medium. I mean, it's still intact. There's noticeable cartilage, but no like meat or skin or anything else on it. No hair.
Is it like charred, or is it like eaten off the bone, or like how is it?
Nope.
Just bone.
It is. I don't know what you would get if you medically extracted someone's skeleton. Without
So just like a biology class level skeleton kind of thing?
That sort of a skeleton,
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, completely dissolved clean and everything.
Yeah, like bleached. Maybe not bleached white, like it's a little dingy from being in a dungeon, but it's like in pretty good shape. And
that dungeon dinge.
It has one arm just straight out pointed with at the tip of it, at the end of its arm. It's crazy weird elongated bird fingers are all bent down except for the one pointer finger, and it is pointing right at one of the carvings.
And which one is it?
It is the one of the Nalfishnay on the
Nalfishnay.
Yep, on the south wall.
Can I roll
where would that be? Like, can you sort of show me where that would be?
Right around where Tohan's token is on the board.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Should I roll another religion check to see if I know about that in particular?
No, I would say at this point you guys are kind of standing around by this door and you're like looking at it and stuff, and you can kind of again, I'll even say Gilfoyle because you have a fairly decent passive perception. You would notice again there is a breeze coming from this thing.
There's a what?
There's a breeze coming out of the south wall in that area where it was pointing.
Where's the bandit leader leading us? Like, what's his take on all this?
Well, he sort of stopped now that you guys are like examining these things. He's just standing there quietly because Tohan and Venadia threatened him.
Do you know anything about these? You've been through here?
He kind of looks at you for a minute and he nods quietly and he walks over to the wall slowly. And
fucking summons a demon.
He pushes a small section of the wall and a piece of it slides open. And it reveals a kind of 5 foot wide or so tunnel of just real rough hewn stone leading down away from it at a slant, going down slightly farther.
Lead the way, guy.
He says, well, I don't really want to go in there. It's not very nice in there.
Oh, it's not very nice out here. Meat. Let's go.
All right. So he leads you south into this little recessed area here. I'm gonna put you guys back a little bit closer together so a rough idea of where you are. So he leads you down this path, and he's a few feet out in front of you, and he gets down to the end of the path that's sloped down, and it's maybe gone down 15 or 20 feet now total, like drop, like vertically. That's the word I'm looking for. And you notice that the floor of the room in front of you is flooded out. The end closest to you is it's got a few feet of water on it, maybe about 2 where you are. If you look off to your left, which would be on this map your right, as you're facing, you see that the water kind of stops at the east side of the room, we'll say. And as you look off to the west side of the room, you realize that the water gets much deeper over there. And you can kind of, just peeking around the corner, see this very, very large statue. And it's only sticking out of the water from about its chest up.
Yes, the bandit. What is this? Or the bandit chief?
This is, I think it's a drain from the sewer upstairs. And, like, at this point, you guys are smelling this, and it does smell a lot like sewer water. It's not pleasant. You do notice that the statue seems to, it seems to have just a dim purple radiance. Like, it's not quite lit up, but it just seems to be reflecting any of the light in the room as purple back to you. And,
I asked Reggie if it's, magical.
Skim. He says, well, miss, I don't detect any magic on it. Doesn't seem to be, Oh, I see. That's just a fairy fire. It's nothing to worry about, he says. The bandit is kind of poking around nervously at the edge of the water. He's, like, looking back and forth, looking at you guys behind him where he can't get away.
Is this the way we're supposed to be going to get to the second level, or is this just something along the way that we're investigating?
He says, I don't know, you told me to go down here. I was showing you the way, and you said that you stopped and wanted to see what this was all about. I think it's just a sewer drain. We come down here sometimes to get rid of bodies.
That's fun. Let's go.
Alright, so which way are you guys heading? Are you heading back out of the room, or?
Oh, is there a way down south or no?
Do we want to inspect it? We could land bridge over there.
I thought we were going down south through this stuff.
No, I thought this was just a different room that we were checking out. This is not actually the way he was taking us to get to the level.
See, I thought this was like a way around those statues.
Aren't we past the statues already?
No, you guys were kind of looking at the statues off to your west, like up here. So the pillars, that is, would be on your west side. He took you down here just because he's scared shitless and he doesn't want to get killed for saying no. But yeah.
I'm curious to just build a little land bridge over and go look at that statue more closely.
Okay, so you can do that without really any issues. Once you get over there, however, I'm going to need you to roll initiative.
Ooh. Damn it.
Damn.
I rolled a natty.
Oh, 7.
I got critical on
18
that.
for Gilfoyle.
Sorry, Vanadia, you got a natural what on it?
Natural 20.
20? Okay.
So +1, so 21.
Gotcha. And then I didn't get Tohan or Maggie's yet, sorry. I was trying to get everything written down.
15 for Tohan.
8 for Maggie.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had 7. I thought it was.
Yep. That one I got. Just put everybody in order real quick.
So we're kind of like on a skinny land bridge that Ariane's made. Is that about right?
Yeah. I don't remember the exact thing that the spell can do, but I believe it's at least 5 or 10 feet wide. So you guys could be standing on it. 5 feet wide. Okay. So yeah, you would be single file headed out there if it was just you. You were the only one that said you had gone out there. So I will assume that you're out there. The bandit is still with these guys. Let me get Maggie. You out there.
So I'm gonna run up to join for sure.
Let me roll initiative for 16, so that's gonna put him in right above Tohan. Ariane. And shit, what area am I in?
I'm gonna stay back where I am and keep the spell going and be ready to attack if need be.
There we go. So you come across this guy. He is a gray ooze. He because he got a surprise attack in on you, I'll say, when you guys rolled initiative, as soon as I can find his stat block.
I thought the fairy fire might be a will-o-wisp kind of thing.
How great can an ooze really be?
Gray, not great.
Great.
It's not great. It's really not great. Soulful Naruski here. Back up.
These oozes would be big on like those slime channels on YouTube, but
Yeah. No, I know what to do with green ooze, but I don't know what to do with gray ooze.
Kill it.
Let me see. So he is going to do a pseudopod attack on you as his surprise attack, Maggie. He 22, sorry. I'm assuming that hits you, right?
Yeah, I got 18 AC.
D6 plus 1 is 4 damage, plus... So 4 bludgeoning damage, plus 8 acid damage.
12 altogether.
Yep. So, what did I say, 4?
All
So
right.
12 all day. Are you wearing metal armor?
Oh, no. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, this is bad.
So, your armor, as he hits you, begins to corrode and takes some permanent damage. You get a -1 penalty to the armor class that it offers.
Shit. That's no fun.
Alright. Let's go back to my initiative order here so I can tell what's going on.
And that's the case also, metallic weapons that hit it too, right?
Maybe. Yeah, it seems to have corrosive properties to metal. And now that
I'm
you're
definitely
up
no
close,
longer interested in slicing at this thing.
Yeah, now that you're up close, Maggie, you're pretty sure that based on the tint of kind of weird purple reflection coming off this thing, that this ooze was actually just kind of distributed over the surface of the statue, and that's what was giving it its purplish appearance.
Gotcha.
This is the situation of curiosity killed the cat. Or the cleric.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, Vanadia, it is your turn.
Do not want. I guess I could shoot bolts at it. I don't care if it corrodes those. So, but do I have a shot? I mean, you said we're single file.
Yeah, if you run up behind Maggie, you would be you know, in line with that, roughly. Like 5 feet will get you out to about there, probably. These particular squares are 10, the smaller ones are 5, so.
All right, I'll pop off a shot. Why not?
Okay.
I think I can have 2 applications of that spell going at the same time to give them more room.
Oh, like twin spell or something?
I rolled a 13. Does that hit?
13. Yes, it does.
All right.
More squishy squishes. Some squishy monsters in this dungeon.
All right, 5 and then +1, so 6.
Okay. Anything else? If not, it is Gilfoyle's turn.
Okay. I will.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
I am going to cast Sacred Flame at it.
Okay.
It must make a dex save.
Let's move you down there.
DC 13.
Range on it or no?
60 feet.
Okay, so you got plenty of room then. Dex save DC what?
13.
He rolled a 8 after the -2 dex.
11 damage from fire.
All right. As much as you could say that a gray ooze is bloodied, this thing is very, very bloodied. It's very oozed. Anything else, Gilfoyle?
Nope. I'm staying away.
Okay, let's see.
So, Zach, real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was just looking at the spell, and it says I can have no more than 2 of its non-instantaneous effect active at a time. So would that mean I could have it at, like, 10 feet for them?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you could probably do that. Like,
All right,
so it's like
yeah, let's say
one-
that, so they at the very least there can be like 2 of them next to each other instead of single file or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We could do that. So you just created like a 10-foot wide land bridge essentially, because this is kind of a short space anyway. It's only about 15 feet long total. So.
Yeah, just to make more room for people to maneuver.
Okay, so it goes back to the gray ooze on initiative because the first one was his surprise attack. Venadia, he's gonna kind of ooze in between Maggie here, which is the good thing about oozes, I suppose.
Why is he gonna do that?
Because you're close too, and you just shot
Because he's a jerk.
Yeah, you just hit him with an arrow. He didn't like
just
that.
shot him.
Because he's an asshole.
So that is a 21 to hit.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
Okay, 1d.
That slaps.
D6 plus 1, so 4 bludgeoning damage and 8 acid damage, so another 12.
You know, a great ooze never would have done that.
Yeah.
Told you,
Yeah, this is definitely a gray ooze and not a great ooze.
We could have been friends.
You have non-magical metal armor as well, don't you?
I really do, yeah.
Okay, so you are now also going to take a -1 penalty to its AC.
Yeah.
Zach, my armor is magical. Does that make
Oh,
it
you do have magic armor. Okay, disregard that -1 penalty then. Venadia, you still take
Can
it.
I use my mend spell to mend their armor later?
You can try.
Yeah, I was gonna try to give him, let Pops take a stab at fixing it too, but
Yeah, no sense in having armor or NPCs if they can't armor things eventually.
exactly.
That is the great.
I was thinking maybe I can do it while we're in here.
Tohan.
Tohan's gonna try to get into there.
Yep. Yeah, you can get up.
He's not gonna rage. He's just gonna attack it recklessly, great weapon master, and try to wedge himself in between everyone because Tohan is resistant to acid damage.
You probably don't want to fuck up your metal weapon, though, right?
My metal weapon is magic, so I don't have to worry about it.
Nice. Beat him down.
So that is a 20 to hit.
That hits. I get the feeling.
Oh, another 12. So that's 28 damage.
Yeah, so
because I'm not raging, so I don't get that extra 2.
That's all right. These are not particularly high CR in this version of the game. They were a lot nastier in the old version. So yeah, you look at this thing and you're like, sure, and you just kind of splat it with your axe, like you just flat axe it, and it just distributes into like tiny little pieces all over the room. It's just dispersed. And you guys are now in a closed off room, and I'm noticing it's about 10 o'clock right now, so this might not be a terrible spot to take a break.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I have a hold of the rope still with the guys.
Oh yeah, you've got more than 50 feet there that you're holding on to. He's still standing over there on the other side, kind of by Ariant, maybe.
Now that the lame ooze is like splattered, is there anything around the statue of interest that we can see?
Let's find out.
No.
He's finding out.
Yeah, when you guys investigate the statue, you actually find that its head is turned around backwards, as though it's partially screwed on or something. And you realize that upon knocking on it a few times and things, and looking at it, you see that it's got kind of holes for eyes and a larger hole for its mouth, and its mouth is fanged. You can also see there is in fact a gap in between the neck of the statue and the bottom of the head of the statue that seems to have like a threaded like screw on it.
Wonder what happens if you turn the
Yeah, you
head
thread it
to
all the
its
way
proper
till its
face.
head's facing the right way, and maybe needs some gems in its eyes or something.
I asked Reggie if he knows anything.
I think I know this story. Or, at the very least, you're going to hate this when you encounter this in Strahd.
Does Reggie know anything?
He looks at it and he says, "No, it doesn't appear to be magical."
Well, maybe it's a mechanical secret passage or something.
Is it something that a religion tech would have any relevance on?
You could try, yeah.
All right. Skills. Religion. Come on. That is a 24 altogether.
All right, so you just scramble your brain trying to think of any instance of this particular type of statue. The closest thing you can think of is in some of the temples back in your hometown. Statues like this were used as a way of lighting or illuminating the temple, where they would unscrew the head and then they would put like a candle or like a torch down in it and then screw the head back on so that it lit up the facial features. You think it might be something like that.
Should we try it?
Yeah, why not? Throw
Let's
a torch
do
in it.
We're already here.
Geez, what's the worst could happen?
Yeah. I didn't get burned on my armor for nothing here.
All
Let's
of our armor
torch it
melts
up.
off the body. Let's do it.
Okay, so you guys unscrew do you unscrew it or screw it all the way on?
Unscrew it.
Let's unscrew it, stick that torch in there, and then...
Okay, so you
Screw it back
unscrew
on.
it and you look down in there, and sure thing, there is some melted wax down in the bottom of it in like a small chamber where somebody previously had some sort of a candle or something in there. And as you look again, like once you take the head off, you kind of look at the eyes and you realize that something probably has been scratched out of the eyes, probably some other adventuring group that got here first. Or perhaps a victim of the Grey Ooze, an earlier victim, who knows. But you're lighting a torch, putting it in there, and then screwing it back on?
Either that, or I could light my my light spell and patch it in there.
Might as well do
Want me to
that.
do that?
I like that.
So as soon as you guys are done screwing it back down, you kind of hear some sort of a noise, like a distant noise. And this is like at the same time that Ariant's light spell activates. And as soon as it does, you hear flush, and just a swirl of water starts going down around the base of the statue, like a giant toilet flush, like for the room. Just clearly some sort of drainage mechanism for the sewers.
All
Is
right.
that-
Does it at least smell better in here now?
Yeah, it does. It's a little bit easier to breathe now.
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
There's
When it flushed, did it like get rid of most of the water that's in here?
yeah.
Do
All
we
right.
see anything of interest now that the water's gone?
You do see several dead bodies in the room now, like just decomposed skeletons, essentially, then like in partial armor, and I mean like there's like 5 or 6 in here that are either they were victims of this gray ooze because their armor is not in good shape. It's like got like rusted holes through it and stuff, corroded holes and stuff through it. So that it leads you to kind of believe that this gray ooze had been sort of hanging out here and snagging what appears to be probably mostly bandits. Either bandits or adventurers that had made their way there. And the bandit leader kind of looks and he's looking all uncomfortable and looking down at the bodies and then looking at you guys and then looking at the bodies again. Probably.
And I turn to him and I say, friends of yours?
Yeah, I knew him. Maybe. I don't know. They're wearing me gang's cloaks.
Yeah, you look uncomfortable with your handiwork here.
Alright, listen, I know I told you I was the leader of the gang, but here's the thing, mates. I'm not really the leader, alright? I'm just a group captain. I'm just in charge of those men that were there with me before. Those doppelgangers, they were sent by my boss. He's I'm just trying to follow orders, really.
Who's your boss?
Yeah, what's your boss's name?
I'll let you know.
Maggie's like, ever heard of the Nuremberg trials?
Just following orders, huh?
He says, my boss's name's Harrier Valishtar.
Harry of Valishtar?
Yep. Yeah, like Harry, but with an Ia at the end.
Is he down here too?
Yeah, he's back up north, in the northern part of the dungeon. We don't really go into the south as much. That's more Xanathar territory.
Do we want to make this guy take us to him?
I thought we were just trying to get down to the second level.
Yeah.
The one thing is, like, if there's forces on the first level, it'd be nice to address that now, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really care. Like, I hope these two gangs wipe themselves out. I'm not trying to
That's true.
do their work for them. When looking at the bodies, does anything look like it's not like pitted and destroyed? Like perhaps like a magical item that.
Right. Do they have pockets we can check?
Yeah, run their pockets.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys go through their soggy...
Hey, that's my job.
Soggy, shit-stained pockets.
Right. As one does.
Okay, so... let's see. What was the initiative order? We'll go with that.
I was at the top.
Venedia.
I was last.
We will say... Well, let's see. Who would have gone right after Tom? Actually, Maggie. We'll say that you, as you're searching through the pockets of one of these robed figures, that was dressed as more of the adventurer type, like different colored cloak and stuff. Even though it's all rotten and gross, it doesn't look like the bandits. It looks like maybe one of their victims or the ooze's victim. You find an object in their pocket that is very beguiling. It's made out of a substance what we as people would think of as plastic. It is about 6 inches to 8 inches long, and as soon as you pick it up, it extends to be about twice that length. It like telescopes out. At one end of it is a sort of figure of a 5-pointed star, and at the other end of it are tassels that come off, like these brightly colored ribbons. And this, it appears to be a child's toy of some sort. Something that, but a very fantastic style of child's toy, but it would look like to us as people in this world like a cheapo dollar store toy or something.
I asked Maggie, do you want me to ask Reggie about it?
Please. Did it like magically expand? Or like physically?
Like as soon as you touched it, it just went like shoop. Maybe a little A, a little B.
Okay. Yeah,
Hey, Reggie, do you know anything about Maggie's item there?
Oh my, what a find, he says. That's wonderful. Literally, it's wonderful. Ha ha! Oh, I made a joke. That's wonderful. Yes, that's it's the Wand of Wonder, he says. That's a highly sought after item.
What does it do?
What does it do?
Fancy.
Oh, all sorts of things. It literally lives up to its name. Any wondrous effect you could think of, it could potentially do. It was really designed, I think, more of as a novelty amongst wizards and mages and the like, but I'm sure it'll have some combat applications as well. It's been known to.
Cool.
And that should be right on D&D Beyond, and you guys are going to have fun with that, I bet.
Okay.
I'm looking up right now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing, right? This is a very old school style of item, too. This is definitely something that...
Oh, wow. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, when you were making your sorcerer gen, I'm sure you looked at least at the wild magic stuff. It's sort of like that. It's not very predictable.
Yeah,
There was some nifty stuff there for sure.
Yeah.
So you can cast like lightning bolt, fireball.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know though.
Pretty
It's
solid
like
item.
so many different things.
And it's the most fun for me as a DM when goofy shit happens because of it, because then I get to be like, ha ha ha, yeah, now this happens. It's awesome.
Very cool.
Nice.
So yeah, you guys are only
cool.
You guys are only an hour and a half into this dungeon, we'll say. Like it's maybe like late evening by now. It's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Yeah, I'm assuming everybody's good for tonight, right? 10:20.
Yeah.
I gotta go find my dinner.
Can Arian, can you quickly take a stab at trying to fix this melty spot on my armor here?
It's a cantrip. It's instantaneous. So Zach, does it work?
Absolutely, I'm able to. You are able to mend it, so it no longer suffers your penalty.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna take off. You guys have going.
Right, you too, Bill. Thanks for playing.
Good night, Wood.
All right.
Night, Bill. So, are we still at level 5, Zach?
I will say. Shoot, and I should have said it before Bill left. Yeah, I will say you guys can level up to level 6.
All right, thanks, Zach.
Cool.
Ooh.
I'll have to leave a note for him in the group.
Yeah, I was originally going to have you guys do
message.
one more overland dungeon, but I realized that particular one was still kind of underpowered for you guys. And my next plan was to get you guys here, so now you're here. And now I have you in my clutches in my dungeon.
Is there any way we can have Vault catch up to us? Like, can we leave him a trail or anything?
Absolutely, yeah. I would assume that maybe you guys would have done some sort of a like with him knowing where you guys were going to, you would probably have figured out a system of like marking the passageways that you're going in or something.
Cool.
Plus you guys have we'll say he has Ascending Stone and Gilfoyle has Ascending Stone too.
Yeah, right. Okay,
so you guys can
for
totally
sure.
talk him through it. You're not that far in yet, so
Right. Good point.
I kind
So
of
we're going to be resting here and waiting for him to catch up.
Well, not resting. You're just here. It's like time stops,
Right.
and then when we pick up, we'll pick up right here next time.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
But at
No
level
short
6.
rest or anything.
Yep. Well, you guys.
I only rolled the 2 on my hit dice. Boo.
Yeah, you guys are free to take a short rest or whatever, but.
That's what I'm wondering. It's going to take him. You said like an hour and a half in, so it's going to take him like a couple hours to catch up to us.
Yeah, it might be like an hour or 2 or something. There's enough time for a short
Yeah, we
rest,
could just
probably.
like wait that long for him to have a snack.
Yeah,
or
like
whatever
this would be a
while
good
we
spot to even
wait
be
for
like,
him.
okay, like maybe Maggie or maybe Gil contacts him and just says, hey, we're definitely going to need your help here. Here's where we are, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was
Cool.
fun
Sweet.
session.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I will catch everybody later. I don't know why I'm waving. You guys can't see me right now. Here, I'll put it back like this. I'll wave. Bye.
There you go. All right. Good night, guys.
Yeah, good night. Have a good
Good
one.
night.
Bye.